Good evening, everybody. Overwatch is a huge worldwide phenomenon in esports, certainly in collegiate esports, but also just about everywhere. It is a hero-based shooter where two teams compete to see who is the most skillful, who's the smartest, and who's honestly there's some luck involved too. This is Thursday Night Gaming with Grays Harbor College Esports. I am Ralph Hogaboom, and with me tonight is Marcy. Marcy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you tonight, Ralph?
I'm doing well. Actually, I'm a little bit cold. I thought we were supposed to have some sunshine right about now, and we are not having the sunshine. So, yeah, yeah. So, we've got three teams tonight that are going to duke it out in 3v3 Overwatch, which is a little bit of a different setup. Now, I think it was about 6 weeks ago, Marcy. You were here with me when we watched Overwatch 2v2s.
Yes,
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
definitely.
I understand that our reigning champ is returning tonight. Is that right?
Yes, except they have a new name. So they were Pip fans. I think most of the teams a month and a half ago had cat-based team names, which I thought was
That's
really
great.
great. That's gone. That's not happening anymore. So Pip fans has renamed themselves to the Fruitcakes, which that sounds awesome to me. So we've got the Fruitcakes, Nameless, and Kraken Skulls. And you remember Morningstar, right? She was our caster a month and a half ago. She is on Kraken Skulls. So we actually get to see Morningstar play. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I am super looking forward to it. And we have a guest with us tonight too. We have Zivathediva from Florida State University. And we're gonna put her on screen right now. Ziva, how the heck you doing?
Hello everyone, I'm Zivathediva. I'm your caster for tonight, and we've got some exciting games coming up, some 3v3s. Those are very fun to cast, and especially very easy for new people who have never really played Overwatch to watch, because it's a lot simpler than 6v6s that have a lot more strategy and a lot more team fights, a lot more ult economy. There's all of that, but not with 3v3. So if you're new to Overwatch, don't worry, you're going to be able to understand. And I'm going to help you understand by pulling up our format for tonight's tournament in just a few moments. We're going to be able to kind of see how our tournament's going to run, who is going to be playing, and how exactly that's all going to go. So there are 3 teams of 3 players, and it's a double elimination lockout, meaning when the first round is played and the heroes play with their comp of 3, if they win that round, they can no longer play those heroes in the next round. So there's a lot of thought processes that have to go in there with the thought of losing certain characters as we move forward. And finally, the series is best of 3 up until the finals, where we're going to be having a knockout best of 5 round as well. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to our bracket to see the teams who are going to be playing as well. So as was said previously, we've got the Fruitcakes, previously Pit fans, are reigning champions of the 2v2s, which is similar to 3v3, just add a player. We've got the Kraken Skulls and Nameless going together into going first, and Fruitcakes have a buy-in, so they'll be going in our second series against the winner of Series 1. So got some very exciting games coming up here. It's going to be interesting. We've got our competitors here, Lana Del Rey, Pocket League, and Ross on the Fruitcakes, Blank, KUA, Morningstar on the Kraken Skulls. In fact, Morningstar was one of the casters for the last tournament, so very interesting there to see if they'll be able to bring some of their knowledge to this tournament here today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the overview.
I love the overview too. The layout. I'm a visual learner, and so since we don't necessarily get to see all of our players' faces every week, it's great for me to see it all mapped out, start to build some continuity, and really know that we have a community that we're building here. It's great. Thanks so much.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of community, so Marcy and I are from Grays Harbor College. You're from Florida State University, right?
Yep.
And I can only imagine that coronavirus stuff has been a little bit weird for your schooling. It definitely has been for us too. And so one of the things I like to do at the beginning of every week is just turn it over to Marcy to give us another piece of information that can make that a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So great to have everyone back who's been joining us for the past several weeks, and welcome to anyone who's new to Thursday Night Gaming with GHC Esports. Again, my name is Marcy Alstrom. I'm the Recruitment Admissions Manager at Grays Harbor College. and I'm a noob to esports, so you'll hear some of my novice comments throughout tonight. But I also like to bring forward information that's really relevant to education, either in the community or maybe nationwide, and specifically at Grace Harbor College, whether it's how you can get started, how you can get involved, important upcoming events that are coming up in the near future. So if you weren't already aware, now you know summer classes start on Monday, July 6th. So GHC is closed tomorrow, July 3rd, in observance of 4th of July. Current students can still register online through tomorrow. So just go to your my.ghc account and you can register for classes online there. Any new students that are looking forward to getting started at Grace Harbor College, we have lots of opportunities to get involved and get registered for fall quarter. So how can you do that? The easiest way is to go to ghc.edu, and up at the top of the website, there is a blue button that says Get Virtual Assistant. Click on that button, and it's just like walking into the hub on campus or the student building. There are Zoom lobbies available for a lot of our different services office, welcome center, financial aid, testing, advising. So jump into one of those Zoom lobbies. The welcome center and advising are great places to start for getting started at the college. If you're a current student or a prospect, or maybe just a community member and want to learn more about the college, those lobbies are full of staff people who are a part of our community, love working at GHC, and are more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So we're here for you. Summer hours, the college is closed to the public on Friday, so jump in any day, Monday through Thursday. Look forward to seeing you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks for keeping us connected, Marcy, specifically during all of these weird times. So we've got our first two teams. We've got Kraken Skulls against Nameless. Our other team, Fruitcakes, who were previously Pit fans. Since they were the winners of our last tournament, that means they're the #1 seed, which means they already get a bye. They get a pass for the very first match. So I am so looking forward to seeing Morningstar and her team play against Nameless. One thing, Ziva, I do want to tell you, I've got my eye on Nameless because there's two people in there that I'm familiar with. Cupcake Ninja is Cassie, and she's been doing our Smash tournaments. She turns 13 in August, and I just have a big soft spot in my heart for her. I think she's great. She keeps coming out to these events, and just a couple more years, and I will recruit her, and she'll be playing for GHC Esports.
Yes.
Super excited about that. I know her mom too, so her mom's just a super sweetheart. And then Soski is an incoming GHC student, and I haven't had a chance to see him play yet. I've seen some Valorant clips, but I haven't seen him play Overwatch. So I'm super excited. With that said, I should stop talking, and I should give it to Ziva, and we should see some Overwatch. How's that sound?
I love it.
That sounds amazing to me. I love Overwatch, and I'm more than ready to get into it. So you spoke about Cupcake Ninja. I love to hear that young, especially women, are getting into esports, especially Overwatch. That was my start. So I love to hear that. And also a little fun fact about Cupcake Ninja. Her dad, who also previously played in your Overwatch 2v2s, is also one of the original Overwatch developers. So maybe that will give her a little bit of an edge. I don't know. We'll go ahead and see. So we're starting over here on Oasis, which is not usually an elimination map. This is kind of a normal comp / quick play map, but it has a good kind of middle point, which has a high ground, which can easily be abused by a hit scan, and a low ground, which can also be used for covers. So I'm seeing on the side of where Morningstar, KUA, and Blank are, we've got Anna, Hog, and Reaper. So this is a very strong team to start with. And we've got McCree as well, McCree Sigma on Baptiste on the other side as well. Starting with Hog and Anna on the first round is a little bit risky because you are losing some of your stronger picks, but we see Sigma's shield going down almost immediately. Hog Hook not landing on anybody, but we do have Husky taking out Morningstar almost immediately. Sigma, they have the 3, so what they're playing right now is they're playing defensively, hiding into the tunnel so that they can't take any damage, but McCree is able to get some of that damage on the Roadhog. If he can just land a flashbang here on this Hog, we can go ahead and get him down. But Hog does have that self-heal, which makes him a very strong pick for this kind of...
Ziva, I hate to interrupt, but I can't get my spectating to work. How do I jump to the players? I'm totally failing you.
Yeah? Question mark? No, you're totally fine. That's why I usually don't jump to players. I actually don't know. I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I don't ever do any of the spectating work, but I can quickly search that up for you if you'd like
Oh,
to.
I think I see him. I'm gonna hustle it. I'll search it up during the next break. Sorry to interrupt.
Try left and right click. That might be what it is.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'll do better camera work.
No
Take it away.
All right. So we do have 25 seconds on the clock. Basically, if the 3 other people cannot be eliminated, it's whoever can capture the point. But right now, it's looking like it's leaning towards Husky, Oxy, and Husky on Nameless. We do have 3. You have McCree ult up, which is an great zoning ult, so they might not even have to kill KUA. They might be able to keep them off the point, just like Celtic is doing right now, because there's no way for KUA to touch this point here, especially when that's done. They do end up getting hit out there anyways. So, fortunate picks there on the side for the Kraken Skulls there. But unfortunately for the Kraken Skulls, they do still get to have that hog on that second fight. I think there you have to give it over to Nameless for really playing smart, playing slow. Sometimes that's the best way to do it. Aggressiveness is usually good in this kind of play, but it can also be good to kind of fall back and let the people come to you, so you have the upper hand. Now we see the Moira hog on the side of the Captain Skulls, and Genji is not most huge pick in this kind of play, but also seeing Hog, also seeing Zarya and Moira on both sides here. We see Blank immediately taking the high ground there, a very smart play. You control the high ground, and you usually have a lot of the control. Genji's doing a good job diving him though. Great job from Sasuke there, diving the McCree, taking him off that high ground, and now forcing the Kraken Skulls to play on the floor. Well, a very good job on the side again of the Nameless right there. Sorry, it's difficult because the names evidently aren't on the screen, so I'm having to check. Nameless taking 2. Now the Kraken Skulls really kind of have to consider maybe changing their comp. It doesn't seem like Hog is working for them, so they might have to try something a little bit different here to try and break through this amazing Kraken Skulls, or Nameless play here. Cupcake Ninja doing a great job keeping the team up, and again, Sasuke doing a fantastic job at diving that Genji on the high ground. We see Mercy, Winston, Pharmacy. Pharmacy is an extremely strong combo here, especially on 3v3s, especially if there's no hit scan on the enemy team. McCree having been used, Soldier is kind of their only option. Winston's also a great pick here to hold on to a lot of different territory with that mobility. So it'll be, let's see how Nameless deals with that. Sasuke taking out KUA right away. So they lost their tank there. So Pharmacy's going to have to kind of handle themselves on their own here. Oxy Bleach doing a good job at focusing down that Pharah. A lot of time it's not even about killing the Pharah, it's about not letting her do all that work. Cupcake Ninja doing a fantastic job at keeping Oxy Bleach up so that Oxy Bleach can really focus that Pharmacy. Best thing Oxy Bleach wants to do here is not die. Unfortunately, that's what he did. So now it's really on Sasuke or Cupcake Ninja, or Sasuke especially, to hook more so you want to hook that Mercy, get a pick on that Mercy so that he doesn't keep up the Pharah up for too long. And Barrage is almost up for Plank, so if Plank can get off that Barrage here, they might be losing the point to this Pharmacy rather quickly. It's really going to be all up on Sasuke right now to get a hook here on one of the 2 parts of Pharmacy. Before Blank can get a good Barrage on here. But Barrage also puts Pharah in a very vulnerable state. So if Sasuke can maybe fade out the Barrage coming out from Blank, not getting much, but a very good idea there, not super well executed, unfortunately. What Blank tried to do there was Barrage the Morningstar could res their Winston, but it did not fully work out, and Sasuke getting the hook onto Blank. A valid attempt, a good attempt from the Kraken Skulls there with the Pharmacy, with the Winston. I've got to say, Nameless did a very good job at just playing back and playing safe and defensive rather than overly aggressive here. A great dive here, as we're seeing with play of the game from Sasuke, immediately noting that Blank was up there on the high ground. You don't want to leave a McCree uncontested on the high ground. It's extremely dangerous to do so. So you did a great job at getting on him, diving, and immediately getting him off there. Great job from both teams. But it seems like Nameless is taking this one, but you can't take away the amount of skill that was on both teams there, definitely.
Yeah, wow, that was faster than I thought. I was thinking that 3v3 games would be a little bit more slower and more like camping. That's not true.
Compared to 6v6 or 2v2?
2v2s.
Oh yeah, you would think that that's the case, but actually, since there's more players, there's more of like a team dynamic. Rather, it's actually more of like a touch and go with 2v2s. You've only got 2 people, so really you have to be careful because you lose one person, you're kind of out of luck. So with 3v3s, you can afford to be a little more aggressive, and that's why sometimes fights will just happen and end just like that. Whereas when you're 2, you need to be a lot more careful with not losing one of your players, especially not your healer.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I was trying to fix my camera work there, and then I was adjusting some audio stuff, and I wasn't tracking the scores. So was that a 2-0 for Nameless or 2-1 for Nameless?
3-0 because it's best of 5 in the actual games itself. So
gotcha. Okay.
3-0 for Nameless. They took that pretty decisively. I've got to say, I did see a few good plays from the Kraken Skulls, but Nameless just did a very good job at playing back and not getting too forward, too aggressive, especially on that first fight with Sigma. They really just held their place in the tunnel and played a kind of a waiting game, as we saw. Waited for the McCree to get his ult, which is a great zoning ult, and made sure that the Hog at the end didn't even have the chance to touch, because there is that capture point aspect to it too. So you don't necessarily have to kill everybody on the enemy team. You just have to either capture the point or do that. But since they saw, hey, we have McCree ult, let's just wait until we have 5 seconds, pop that. And that Hog has the choice of hiding and not hitting the point, or getting on the point and getting immediately deleted. So they played it very intelligently.
Gotcha. Okay. The ults are something that, Marcy, I think we only saw one ult last time because in 2v2 it was just so quick. Does that mean we're going to see more ults this time around?
You may see more ults just because there's more people, there's more damage to do, and more damage to heal as well. So ults play a little bit more of a factor in 3v3s versus 2v2s, but they don't play that much of a factor. Usually the only ults you're going to see are ults from DPS, such as McCree, Pharah, maybe Mercy, but ults don't play a huge role. It's really in those kind of drawn out kind of fights where it gets to that point where the capture point goes from 10 to 0 that you're going to see them come out, but mostly just for those high damage heroes like Pharah, McCree, maybe Hog, but they definitely have more of an aspect in 3v3s because there's more damage to deal.
I'm going to show how much of a noob I am. I don't know what an ult is. What is an ult?
No problem. So an ultimate is an ultimate ability that builds over time for each hero. So each hero has their unique ability. It's kind of like the ultimate ability, their best ability, and some build faster than others. And like healers build up their ults by healing their team or damage boosting their team. DPS, so damage per second heroes, build their ults by doing damage, and tanks so much the same. So those kind of build up and then they get used and it goes back to 0% and they'll keep building up as many times as that person can build it up. However, in 3v3s, it only rarely really gets built up twice. It's usually just one time, and then depending on the hero, it can be used really effectively.
Oh, I think we had a little bit of latency there. Yeah, you sounded vaguely like a Star Wars droid. You sounded good now. Maybe that's just a trick. So
it's not
right. So I do have to say there's a little bit of a delay getting into the second match. I kicked out Kraken Skulls. I was thinking that was the end of the whole first round, and so I ejected them. And so Morningstar and Kraken Skulls, I am so sorry.
Do get another chance. Yeah.
Come back. This is best of 3, not best of 1. I am so sorry. I appreciate that somebody just sent me the "This is fine" gif. Thank you so much for that. So a couple of people I see in chat. Hey, Lord Underpants, I feel like I know you, but I don't think I know you. I see what looks like Jelton Hahn in chat. Shout out to Jelton. Jelton is actually somebody that has been carrying me in Snow Day on Rocket League, so I'm glad to see him. I'm wondering, so actually, I've got a question for chat. Because when I think of summer, what I think of is birthdays, and I'm wondering, like, anybody got a birthday coming up in the next week?
I know you asked chat.
I mean,
but I actually have my birthday coming up.
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say over there is Ziva.
Wait, you guys knew?
Yeah. Well, we creeped your Twitter. We're like, she's gonna be casting for us. We're gonna creep your Twitter. Squimple's birthday is in March. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's happening on Sunday. We're turning the lovely bright age of 22.
Awesome.
Feeling that
Happy
existential
birthday.
dread.
Looks like our players are ready. I'm gonna shut up, but I'm coming back to this birthday thing. Like,
Okay.
we need to do something with that.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well,
22 is my
to say, are we starting? Oh, we're playing on Workshop. That's really interesting. Okay, I've never seen 3v3s being done on Workshop before. This is yeah. I don't know if that's
I think that might have been a glitch from too many people.
Right. That's what I thought. So, okay, they still have some AFK. So we're not doing a 3v3 on Work. But that could be really cool. The angles are pretty cool here, but unfortunately, not today. They're going to diplomatically discuss who's going to win, and they're going to kind of debate to see who's going to win. This is the new kind of gameplay that they've let out at Overwatch here. It's called Diplomat, and they figured, I'm just making that up, that's not true. That would be pretty cool,
Right,
though.
I was thinking. So this looks like a restart, right? Restart lobby?
Yeah. Restart the lobby. And
Okay.
Hopefully get a map this time. Because the map does have a lot to do with the winner, especially some maps are better for pharmacy, some maps are better for hit scan. And hit scan, for anybody who doesn't know, hit scan is any hero where the bullet hits directly where you aim it, basically. And projectile is where there's a little bit of a travel time. So hit scan is great against heroes like Pharah because they can accurately hit them while they're in the sky. So here we're on Lijiang Tower. There's a lot of boop potential here. So basically there's a bottomless pit all around the middle of the point and all around the outside. That means heroes like Lucio, which we see Cupcake Ninja on, can boop some heroes as well as Diva. We see Tracer, Moira, Diva on the side of the Kraken Skulls. So Tracer is a great choice here because we've got that self-heal with Recall. Diva's a great mobile character as well. We see Oxybleach on that McCree again, Sasuke on the Sigma, and Lucio hopefully maybe getting some boots here. Standing behind Sigma shield, it's a great idea to have Sigma, McCree, any kind of shield and McCree is great. That's a high damage up, but the defense Wicked is great, especially with there's also countered a Tracer, so he's countering an aspect of the game. Oxybleach and Sasuke taking out Sigma early on, and we've got they're advancing onto the point now, onto the Tracer, and Oxybleach is also taking out Blank and Morning Star. So, you know what happens is something you can't really anticipate, but Oxyclean, sorry, thinking of Billy Mays here. Oxybleach played a direct counter to Blank's hero Tracers, so sometimes that'll happen, but now, Kraken Skulls knows that they don't have access to that McCree anymore, so they could try to play the Tracer again because they don't have that direct counter. But they seem to be playing that McCree with a Winston and Moira and Sasuke on Genji, Oxybleach on Zarya, and Brig. So we've got that healing with Brig, and Genji's a high mobile character with Oxybleach. Bubble him as he goes in. So overall, we've got a good variety here on the side of Nameless. Morningstar on that Moira again. Let's hope that Morningstar can be able to just a little bit more this time. Winston diving towards the corner, trying to get a little bit of point out here. Taking out Sasuke earlier, Kua as well, playing a counter to Sasuke Genji. So sometimes that'll happen as well that way. Kua diving in, following after Kua taking out Cupcake Ninja, and most likely taking out Oxybleach as well. So what Kraken Skulls did differently this time is they played a dive hero. Winston is a dive hero because he's got that mobility, and they followed Kua very well to each target so that they could kind of collapse onto that target, and that person they could not do anything really to protect themselves. So very good coordination there that we saw from the side of Kraken Skulls. Unfortunately, Sasuke, Oxybleach, Cupcake Ninja, no match for a Winston, followed by a McCree. So on the side of Kraken Skulls, we see Anna, Hammond, and Ashe, another high mobility character with two not so high mobility characters. Sasuke on that Hog, as we said, Hog is a great pick for 3v3 because of that self-heal. Soldier, also a strong pick because of that self-heal. So it's tricky to play two very strong picks on one round. You want to kind of try to balance it. We also see Cupcake Ninja with that break. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that together. Those are three not very mobile characters versus a kind of divey mobile character. So let's see if Kua can do what Kua did last round by diving for heroes. However, Husky can counter Hammond relatively well as Hog with that hook. Hooking him into the well was catastrophic for this side of the Kraken Skulls. And they've got that stun there as well with Brig, as we just saw used on Hammond. So let's see kind of how this plays out over here. We see both teams kind of playing on either side of the point. A little bit afraid, I think, because both teams kind of have a hook or group ability, and I think neither one wants to die that way. So we see the Nameless team starting to take control of the point, wanting to kind of get that upper hand by taking control. A huge hook on Sasuke there. Sasuke hooking Blank through the wall, bringing it in. Morningstar, however, getting a pick onto Oxy Bleach. So we see it's an even fight right now. Brig doing a great job there of protecting and tank. We see a Hammond, that was the ultimate from Hammond, a very good zoning ult. So now they can kind of just stand in those bombs. There's not much that that Sasuke can do. Sasuke getting antied by Anna, so he cannot heal anymore. However, Sasuke taking out Morningstar. So now it's Hammond versus Hog. Hog ult coming up from Sasuke, a huge zoning ult. Fantastic ult there from Sasuke. That is a zoning ult because it pushes enemies away from wherever they are. So that was a very well done from Nameless there, because Nameless was, you know, we had Sasuke alone there as Roadhog and antied, and he managed to build up his whole ult and push everyone off the point. That was a very, very close fight. So great job there from Nameless for coming back. Let's see what Kraken Skulls runs here. So we see that Pharmacy again, very strong combo, and we see a kind of on the side of Nameless. They've got to be thinking, uh-oh, right now. Because really the only counter they have here is Diva, if she can kind of dive into their face, or Baptiste here, which has a hit scan, but mostly the focus for Baptiste is to heal. We see the boop coming from Kua, but not able to get anybody because of the mobility of Genji and Diva. Right now, they want to be focusing that Mercy the best they can. Invincibility coming out early on as Kua dives Cupcake Ninja, taking both Invincibility out and Cupcake Ninja. So now, Nameless has no healing. This is very dangerous for Nameless. They don't have any way of healing, whereas on the side of Kraken Skulls, they have their Pharmacy up strong and not at all in trouble. And Kua's full health is with shields as well, so they really have to play this safe here. Sasuke getting taken out by Blank, not much a Genji can do against Pharah, and I believe Oxy Bleach will be falling pretty soon as well to this very high damage output team. Yeah, that does happen sometimes with 3v3s. The enemy team will run Pharmacy, and you won't really have much to deal with her, and she can put out so much damage with that Mercy damage boost. So on the Kraken Skulls, that's great, but now the Kraken Skulls don't have access to Pharmacy anymore, which makes me think that Nameless might run that themselves, seeing how well it worked for the Kraken Skulls. So we'll see what each team pulls out here. I would say it's probably intelligent on Kraken Skulls to run a hit scan. So we're not seeing Pharmacy, but we are seeing Tracer on the side of Nameless, as well as Zarya again and Moira, and Baptiste, Rhyme, and Ash on the side of Kraken Skulls. So Kraken Skulls have some shield, whereas Nameless doesn't have much shield here, so it's really going to be on the Nameless to get behind that shield, get into the face of the Kraken Skulls team, and really get very brawly with them, because they have that Tracer who can get close. Tracer does the most damage on close range, so you really need to get into it. Kua diving in, or charging in, should I say, to the team. Oxy Bleach trying to take them out as best as they can. Blank getting a huge pick onto Cupcake Ninja here. They don't have their healers anymore. However, Kua taking out Oxy Bleach as well. Huge comeback from the Kraken Skulls there. A very, very good job at picking heroes, at seeing where they could pick heroes that would be more effective, especially with that Pharmacy Hammond there. A great job. Let's see this play of the game. I believe it's probably going to be from this last fight here. An early pick there, I think, onto Cupcake Ninja it was. A great headshot there, taking out any chances of survival from the Nameless team, and Kua getting a great pick there onto Oxy Bleach as well. I think that Kraken Skull really pulled it out. I feel like they got their coordination finally kind of together for this last round.
So that sounds like the first one went to not Cupcake Ninja, Nameless. Second game went to Kraken Skull, so we get a third in this first best of three.
We do get a third, which I love to hear. I love when it's
Cool.
kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when
so
there's a game that's one-sided, it's way less fun to watch.
It's definitely way less fun to watch, also way less fun to cast. There's not much to say when one of the enemy teams is getting destroyed every time, but I think Kraken Skulls did a really good job there. Better comps that would work better for them, and not running all their best heroes in their first comp right away, which is kind of a mistake that can be made sometimes when you want to win that first round. But if you're going to sacrifice your best heroes on that first round, you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage for the rest of the few games that you have to play.
Yeah.
I'm really curious, when a team is formed, how many heroes are there to choose from? And do they get to choose like every match, or like when you choose it, is that what you have for the remainder of the game?
So for this specific tournament format, it's called Lockout. So they get to pick from all the heroes. There's over 27 or maybe 30. I don't exactly know the exact number. I should probably, but
I think it's 30.
Lockout. 30, thank you. Since it's Lockout, they basically pick a hero. So let's say I pick Pharah or Mercy, and we win that round. I can no longer pick that hero for the rest of the games. However, if I lose, I can pick them again. But if you win on a hero, you can't pick that hero anymore in this format, in this tournament.
Interesting. Thanks.
All right. Great questions, because that changes. That's not at all the way that like traditional Overwatch works. So that can be a little bit confusing, especially when you're switching back between lockout and non-lockout. But that is how this specific tournament works. So it really makes people pick heroes based on, they have to think about the future as well, not just about winning that first round. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're seeing Bastion right away. Bastion is a huge high damage hero behind an Orisa shield with Baptiste. This can be really, really, really a strong pick. But again, picking this out right from the beginning is a little risky. Do see that Orisa on the side of Kraken Skulls as well. However, with a McCree, who's also high damage, but Bastion can really put out a lot of damage. And I don't know that Kraken Skulls are going to have enough healing to really mitigate that. Once that Bastion gets settled on, invincibility coming out a little bit early, however, on the side of Nameless there. It's gone already. They're not going to have it for at least, I think, 15 seconds if I'm not incorrect. So they've got to play a little bit careful here in case the Kraken Skulls decide to really dive onto this team, which is what I personally would have done if the minute I saw that invincibility. But they're going around, getting a different angle onto this Bastion setup. Shield going down on the side of Orisa. Morningstar getting pulled down by Kua. So now Morningstar is split on their team, so they're all going to have to drop here. Kind of flanking around, trying to get a pick onto that Bastion. That Bastion really want to get him down. Both barriers are down for the moment. Oxy Bleach taking out Blank, so they don't have a lot of their damage here anymore, and Kua is going to really have to output most of it. Sasuke taking out Morningstar and Kua. Just based on how the comps were built, it doesn't surprise me that Nameless won there. They just had more damage and more healing. However, that means they don't have Bastion, they don't have Orisa, and they don't have Baptiste for the rest of this tournament, or at least this portion of the tournament. So they really have to be kind of careful, because now it may be that Kraken Skulls decides to pull out that comp themselves. So let's see what both teams pick. We got Sasuke on McCree again, Oxy Bleach, Zarya, and we've got Mercy. So that on the side of Nameless, and then we've got Winston again, Ashe, and Moira. I like the way Kraken Skulls plays Winston. He can be really strong as long as the team follows along with him, because if he dives into a team and this team isn't with him, it's very easy to pick him off. So if they can play it coordinated the way that they did last time, they have a really strong fight here that they can play. So Oxy Bleach, or Nameless, kind of playing into this corridor again, being patient again, knowing that they have that Winston, trying to see how that happens. So Kua diving in, taking out Sasuke, a fantastic dive on the side of Kraken Skulls. They really play dive very well. Morningstar taking out Cupcake Ninja and getting onto that Oxy Beach again. Kraken Skull seems to just really be good at diving onto them. Diving basically means you use your mobility to get right on top of the enemy, and at that point, if you have your allies come with you, the chances of you taking out the enemy is very high. So they seem to be able to run those kinds of comps very well. Whereas Nameless seems to be better kind of on Bunker, which is more about staying where you are and having the other team come to you. So you see Kua and then Hammond again, another dive hero, Pharmacy, and we're once again seeing Nameless here doesn't really have a counter to Pharmacy, and that did not go very well for them last time. So let's see if they can pull something out. Again, it's going to be on Hog to hook that Mercy early on, or for Diva to kind of dive into her face. But again, if you don't get that Mercy, there's not much you can do about the Pharah. So they're kind of caught out here. It's why you probably want to try to run a hit scan whenever you can, especially when you know that the enemy team has access to Pharmacy. Kua diving in, Blank taking out Cupcake Ninja early on. Nameless, no heals right now, but they do have the self-heal from Sasuke. Huge hook from Sasuke, but not able to capitalize on it and take out that Mercy. If they can just get that Mercy down, they should be able to get the rest of the team, but it's really going to kind of now be based on Sasuke's and Oxy Bleach's mechanical skills, which is the skills of actually being able to hook, their actions that they're taking rather than their strategy. Mistook onto Morningstar there. So right now, Blank is trying to get a pick of either one of the tanks. It is rather difficult as Pharmacy to take down tanks rather than squishies, which are smaller, lower health heroes. But Blank does take out Soke with that damage boost, and most likely we'll get this pick on hero. The Oxy Bleach, not much a Baby Diva can do there. We saw again that issue of not having any hit scan, not having any long range DPS to deal with that Pharmacy. You're just not going to have a fun time when that happens. But now they know that the Kraken Skulls don't have access to Pharmacy, so they can be a little bit more lenient about running a hit scan. But that's why usually when you know your enemy team has access to that Pharmacy, you kind of want to try to run a hit scan. So we've got, now they're running Genji, Winston, and Lucio, Nameless. Now they know they can kind of play heroes that don't counter that. However, we see the McCree on the side of Kraken Skulls, knowing that they also have access to Pharmacy on Nameless. So a smart move to play McCree. McCree's great on 3v3. He's just huge damage output, and that flashbang can be really strong against Genji. So let's see how they use this. We're probably going to have McCree stay with Kua, like kind of try to get into that backline, but they don't have any healers on the side of Kraken Skull, so they have to be extremely careful here about either they need to push in all at once now, or they need to play super careful, but they might just lose here because of the lack of healing. However, Kua getting a huge pick onto Sasuke here. So if they can just get this Lucio down, they're pretty much even in terms of healing. Oxy is shaking out Blank though, because with the lack of healing there, Kua, I've got to give props to Kua there. 2 pins there. It's not easy to do as Reinhardt. You have to be really stacked with those. But with the lack of healing, when you're not running a healer, you have to be super aggressive, or you're probably going to lose that round because they're just going to whittle away at your health. And unless you get a health pack, you're not going to be able to get that health back. Health pack. Hey, I got you there. But that's what happens when you don't run a healer. Now we're seeing both teams with a healer. That's usually what happens in 3v3s. We see Baptiste on this side of Kraken Skulls with Kua on that Reinhardt again. Since they lost the last round, he gets to play him again. Sasuke playing McCree, Oxy Bleach on that Hawk, Ninja on the Moira. So healers on both sides, and then we've got Reinhardt with shields. So there's no shields on the side of Kraken Skulls, so they're kind of open to a lot of long range damage, but actually Kraken Skulls doesn't have that much long range damage. Tracer kind of works best at short range, so I don't know exactly why they ran that. Sasuke taking out Morningstar early on here. They don't have a healer. Sasuke taking out Blank as well. Once again, that McCree is a great counter to Tracer because of flashbang and that long range. Kua most likely going to be taken out here, so unless Kua can pull out a miracle, that was not a miracle. It looks like this game is going to Nameless, but we've got to give props to Kraken Skulls. They did a fantastic job there. I think not running that healer that one round, though, kind of put them at a disadvantage. But let's see this play of the game from Blank. taking out a large majority of the team. Here, this is where I was speaking about not being able to get tanks. It takes a lot more precision and skill to take out tanks because you want to be hitting those direct shots. So a great job from Blank there. Honestly, great job from both teams, especially that second and third game, or second game. You saw it being a lot closer than before, but I think they made a kind of fatal mistake, literally, and not running a healer there.
So it was all down to the combos.
And a lot of the time it is, especially in 3v3s, it's a lot more down to comp rather than actual mechanical skill, because if you have a comp that completely counters yours, there's just not much you can do mechanically to save yourself unless you get lucky. So not running a healer there just really put them at a disadvantage. They didn't run heroes that can self-heal. So unfortunately, that was a little bit their downfall there.
Wow. Well, there was something I saw early on. You were talking about, I think it might have been in this last round, where one of the nameless pulled Morningstar down from up above, which split the team, and then it forced everybody else to jump down from up above to get back with that character. So splitting the team. I mean, the combo is more than just they help each other. They are literally dependent on being near each other to continue to support each other.
Yes, especially in that situation there. You actually got it really well. Especially in that situation there, Brig has a kind of AoE heals, which is an area of effect heals. So the team needs to be standing within that area of effect to be able to heal at all. And that Brig needs to really be able to get damage onto the enemy team to heal her team. So it's very important that they stay together. So the minute that Brig was pulled off of high ground, that's it. The rest of the team needs to go with her. And you lose high ground, you do lose a little bit of that advantage, just like in Star Wars, Anakin, I have the high ground. It's over. So you really actually got it very much correctly there.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, I will probably end up picking up Overwatch. The thing that I like from what I see about Overwatch is the depth of, there's a combination of who you're playing with and what they're capable of doing, how they're going to play that particular character, the character combo of everybody on your team, and the map and how well you know the map. Mm-hmm. Add the additional layer of what have we seen the other team do, and I'm like, oh my god, there are just so many different combos.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to this game, which is really what attracted me to it, because I never got into FPSs myself until Overwatch. I was really attracted to the fact that not all heroes were about having good aim, and there were a lot of layers to what you could do with different heroes. When you get the chance to watch 6v6, or if you guys ever throw a 6v6 tournament, you are going to love that, because there are even more layers there with ultimate combos and ultimate economy. There's a whole economy system in Overwatch that is really cool as well.
Right.
So there's so many layers to this game, which is why it's my favorite game. So it's kind of cool to see that you can even have those layers in just a simple 3v3.
Yeah, very cool. Okay. Well, it looks to me like our teams are ready, and it looks like we're playing on Eco Point, which, Marcy, that was the map that I saw the most a month and a half ago when we were doing 2v2. Eco Point is that Antarctica map that kept coming up. I really like that one. And then the other one that I like is the one that looks like a place where you can get really good tacos.
Yeah, I like the one with the yacht and with the bottom of the pit.
Yeah, those good stuff. Okay.
They're great for those.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Looks like we're going into Eco Point, and actually this adds we're adding another layer to this onion of a game. There's actually a rotation aspect to this map here because of the kind of circular high ground that there is in the middle around that kind of huge Eco Point. There is a kind of rotational side to it where, the teams will kind of rotate around each other until one of them eventually kind of gives into the other. So that's another layer that we're going to see here. So we're seeing Pharmacy on the side of Fruitcakes here with Pocket League being pocketed by Ferrets. And Sasuke, again, that McCree, Sasuke seems to be really comfortable with that McCree Oxy Bleach on that Zarya as well. So they do have a hit scan this time. They've learned from their mistakes, and hopefully Sasuke can get a pick onto that McCree or that Mercy or Pharah. So there's a lot of pressure on Sasuke here to get a pick onto either that Pharah Mercy or actually that Echo, because Echo is also a long-range hero. So it's really going to be onto that McCree to get. McCree getting Pocket League, however, Nana Del Rey taking out Cupcake Ninja. So Ferrets, if Ferrets can get a res on Pocket Leaf here, it might be good, but it seems like Lana Del Rey is going to take out Sasuke and Zarya here. Lana Del Rey doing a great job at kind of doing a pincer move with Pocket League. The minute they saw Nameless get into that room, they were like, all right, Lana, you're going to go onto the other side and I'm going to go here. They kind of pincered them and took out the healer, which is, as we are learning here, healers are very important to this kind of comp 3v3 tournament. So a great teamwork there from the Fruitcakes there. But they don't have Pharmacy anymore, so that is one of the stronger combos in 3v3. So we'll see what they'll pull out next. We see Hog, Lucio, and Symmetra. Symmetra we haven't seen yet. She has a teleporter, so they can kind of get them out off and around the map a lot easier. See Sasuke on that Genji that I don't think that's worked for Nameless yet, but I might be wrong here. Oxy Bleach on that self-healing Hog, and they do have invincibility here. Oxy Bleach getting a great hook onto Ferrets, taking out Symmetra early on there, and if they can get Lana Del Rey down, they're gonna have a pretty good fight here. Sasuke kind of pressuring that Lucio down, making him use his self-heal. We're seeing a kind of Hog 1v1 versus kind of 2v2s with their two healers, so let's see who gets the first pick here. Sasuke taking out Pocket League, I almost said Rocket League there, taking out Pocket League there, so it's not looking great for Fruitcakes right now. They kind of only have a healer up, so if Lucio right now can become Reddit Lucio and pop off and get a pick onto either one of these, or, I mean, he literally has to kill 3 people right now. It would take a miracle, but hey, if anybody can do it, it's Lana Del Rey, right? Right now, Lana Del Rey is just running for their little lives. Maybe trying to hopefully run down the timer and get point control. The best Lana Del Rey can do right now is run. I was gonna say if Lana Del Rey, I don't know why I've defaulted to not saying the hero for this. I think it's because I like the idea of Lana Del Rey playing in a 3v3. But the best they could have done there is build up ult, kind of try to hold on the point and maybe boop off the enemy team. But there's not much you can do there when you've got a 3v1 and against a Lucio. Honestly, they did their best there. You've just got to kind of run around and annoy the enemy team and bring some entertainment factors for us. So we see Pharmacy coming out on the side of Nameless, and no hit scan except for Anna on the side of Fruitcakes. So the Fruitcakes might struggle a little bit here against this Pharmacy. Again, it's always thinking about, has Pharmacy been used? No. If the answer is no, run a hit scan, or you're going to be in trouble. However, Oxy Beach is playing a very close range for us, so if Pocket League can get close enough to this Oxy Bleach, they might be able to get a pick onto them. A lot of Farah's skill comes in kind of managing her gas, but Pocket League getting close enough to take out Oxy Bleach. Anna getting a huge sweep onto Cupcake Ninja there, and the Pharmacy is out. So now Sasuke is the only one. Sasuke does have Pulse Bomb, manages to land it onto Ferret's Diva Mag Pocket League getting taken out as well by that ult. But that was a great ult from Sasuke. So that's we saw there was a good use of ult, but Lana Del Rey inevitably taking out Sasuke. Sasuke did a pretty good job there, especially building up her ult there. So Sasuke's ult, Tracer's ult, is one of those ults that builds the quickest because it's not a very easy ult to land and it doesn't do a lot of damage. So based on that, her ult is extremely easy to get. So we saw there the ult being used very correctly to take out Pocket League and also Diva Mech. So a great job from Sasuke, unfortunately not enough for that Pharmacy getting pulled out earlier on. So now you see Fruitcakes is like, okay, they still have access to Pharmacy. We should probably run a hit scan. So we see Pocket League on that McCree and Lana Del Rey on that Zarya. And we see Moira as well with Pharmacy on the side of Nameless. And Tracer again, Sasuke again on that Tracer. A very effective Tracer from what we've seen. So let's see what they can pull. This is a very high damage team against another mid damage team, but more healing on the side of Fruitcakes. So it's not going to be how they kind of make that happen. They're gonna have to. Pocket League's really gonna have to hit his shots here, hit their shots here, because it's really primordial that they get an early pick here, especially because Oxy Bleach getting a pick onto Ferrets there. So no more healing on the side of Fruitcake, unfortunately. Also taking out our lovely friend Lana Del Rey and Pocket League. So great Pharmacy work there from Oxy Bleach. That's really all that was. Fruitcakes, unfortunately, couldn't get that pick onto Pharmacy. It's a lot to ask of a McCree, especially if he's not damage boosted, to get a pick onto a full Pharmacy. So they did a decent job there, but unfortunately they just couldn't get the picks they needed, which there is either part of the pharmacy. They can really be hard to deal with in a 3v3. So on the side of Fruitcakes, we see May, Zarya Moira, a lot of survivability there against a high damage Bastion, Orisa, and a comp. So this is a very strong comp we're seeing on Nameless, but so is Fruitcakes, especially if they can get close. But if they can't get close, it's going to be going to Nameless just because of how high the damage output there is. Here we're seeing that rotation aspect. They should have rotated around behind Nameless to try to get behind that Bastion, freeze him or freeze the Ana, but instead they kind of just stood there and let May's shield, May's wall get destroyed. So there was the aspect of rotation, which would have been really good to see. But unfortunately, Fruitcake's not able to take out that Bastion. Again, super high damage comp. It's so difficult to play against. Bastion, just like Pharmacy, is a really strong on 3v3, especially with Orisa and Ana. So let's see this play of the game. Usually a Pharah in 3v3s. Oxley Beach did a really good job at getting into the face. Sometimes that's what you have to do with Pharah, just get right into them. There's not much they can do there. You risk hurting yourself with those bombs, but also, you know, the McCree has no chance of hitting you when you're that close to them. So overall, a fantastic job from both teams. That was a lot, I feel like I'd say a little bit closer than at least our first round. So great showing from both teams there.
Yeah, wow. My favorite thing, I just really like that map. I don't know, so I was working the camera. I kept panning up to look at the Northern Lights. There's some seriously gorgeous stuff in Overwatch. I mean, I know there's lots of shooting and killing, which is great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But the Northern Lights, and then the idea of Lana Del Rey herself flying around. Like when you said that, like I'm glad I was on mute because I think I laugh snorted. Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was great. I was like, yeah. Kind of when you tell a joke in a class and you hear people laughing. Okay, you're gonna go to bed later on and be like, I was funny. Yeah, that map is beautiful. The artistic work in Overwatch is one of the things that drew me to it. It's such a colorful game and
gorgeous.
It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful game.
So just for folks that are following along, can we jump to the bracket real quick, just to give people an idea of where we're at before we start the next round?
That'd be great.
So Ziva, you want to take us through this?
Yeah, sure. So Fruitcakes did have a buy-in for that second series. So we saw Nameless taking out the Kraken Skulls early on. Now Kraken Skulls are going to take on, if I'm not wrong, whoever wins this next series. So it could be Nameless or Fruitcakes in that third series, and the finals are going to be the winners of both of those games. I did not explain that to the best of my abilities, but we're looking at Encourage bracket here. So it is best out of 3. So Nameless, Fruitcake still has a chance to come through. They just have to win the next one, and then we'll get to kind of see who gets to play the Kraken Skulls next and who gets to move on to the finals. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully, I think what both teams can pull out here is that if you haven't seen Pharmacy, run a hit scan and probably run something that can a healer that can also hit Pharah. Maybe you really don't want to be stuck out not being able to hit a Pharmacy. So that's really what they've got to learn here on this side. We've got some boot potential here, but mostly a lot of this is going to be long range, kind of getting the different levels. This is also a really cool map.
Is this where the bottom limb pit is?
Gorgeous.
This is the same kind of. There's 3 maps in this kind of map area. So this isn't it, but this is it is Ilios. So we see Diva, Brig, and Moira on one team here. We got Orisa, Hog, and Lucio on the side of Nameless. That is a lot of survivability on the side of Nameless. So right now what Fruitcake needs to do probably is just kind of get into them. Like, not try to play the far game. They don't have enough far damage to do that. They just need to get onto them. And that's something, if you're going to run a comp, and as you can see, they're doing it right now. Both healers kind of immediately just getting onto that team. You want to be playing close range when you're going to run a comp like Brig, Diva, and Moira. And they did just as I hoped they would there, because you've got that self-heal from Brig. Brig heals and self-heals by doing damage, so she needs to really get into the fight. So they ran something called a Brawl Comp, and so they did a great job at just getting right into Nameless, not letting them do damage from afar, getting into their faces and doing the damage they need to do. So fantastic job there from Fruitcakes. They ran a comp, they saw the comp that was being run, and they ran the comp the way they knew they needed to do. So I love when I say they should do this and then they immediately do it. As a caster, it's a great feeling. So fantastic job there from Fruitcakes. And Nameless, unfortunately, just couldn't bunker down enough to do enough damage to the Fruitcakes there. So we see that Hog again on the side of the Fruitcakes with Baptiste Sombra. So Sombra has a cool ability. She can hack the enemy, an enemy on the other team. So that kind of takes away all of their special abilities, including their passive abilities. So if the Sombra can just hack somebody like Lucio and get him stuck onto a speed song instead of a heal song, then that takes away the healing for the side of the Nameless. So it'll really be onto Ferrets to get a good hack, or even onto Hog, where he can't have hook or self-heal anymore. It's really just important that Sombra gets that hack, or Sombra is not important. So we see Ferrets coming over here, trying to hack the Hog, but Oxy Bleach, too smart for that, hooks and takes out Ferrets. So now it's all going to be really on Oxy or on Lana Del Rey in Pocket League. Once again, we'll see Lana Del Rey being stuck as the only one alive. Not much he could do. Baptiste here, unfortunately. Oxy Bleach, great reaction there to Ferrets coming in and trying to hack him. I think Oxy Bleach must have been knowing that they were the main target for that hack, and so they were kind of waiting to hear that little sound. And a great turnaround there to hook onto that to Ferrets. So fantastic job there from Nameless. Really kind of kept their cool, knew what was coming, and knew how to react. Fantastic there. A good attempt there. So we're seeing our lovely friends Pharmacy again with an Echo. Echo as well does have that flying ability, but Nameless has learned, and they're running a Widow. Widow is one of the best counters to Pharah because she can one shot kill both heroes if she can land a full charge headshot on them. So it's not easy to do, but it's very, very effective if they can land those shots. So Widow, a great idea here, knowing that they're running Pharmacy. If the Widow can pop off here, popping off meaning play really, really well, they can take out the entire team. Positioning, not the best here, though. They want to be a little bit further back. Oxy Bleach is getting dove right now by the Pharmacy. So Widow is effective against Pharmacy if they can keep their distance. But Pocket League and Ferrets did a fantastic job there at diving as Pharmacy. So basically, when you dive a Widow, you get right into their face, and then there's not much they can do because they are extremely long range. They're a sniper, so they're extremely long range. They like to keep their distance as they can. So Pocket League Ferrets immediately noticed the Widow and were like, all right, we're going to just get right onto that Widow, get rid of them as soon as possible, and they did a fantastic job at that. Both teams doing a great job at seeing the issue that they have to deal with and finding a solution really quickly. So we see Sigma on the side of Nameless with a Tracer and Moira, and Pocket League on that Hog as well as Zarya. So they've got a good amount of survivability on the team of Fruitcakes. The minute you pull out that Hog, you've got a good chance of living, especially with no anti on the enemy team. Right now, probably what Fruitcakes wants to do is really get into the face of Nameless and not really let Sigma get a lot of value on that shield there. Lana Del Rey also wants to get a good amount of charge to do damage. If they can force recall out of Oxy Bleach by doing a good amount of damage to them, then they can really get a good early pick. They do have Cupcake Ninja though, so Tracer doesn't have to worry too much about using their recall. Fearfully Sigma, Simic Shield going down immediately, so now it gives a lot of room for Pocket League to get a good early pick, just as he did there. Getting a hook onto Cupcake Ninja, forcing that defensive ability out and getting those picks needed there. So there, it was just a great job on the turn, especially on Pocket League. Forcing out a lot of the defensive abilities on the enemy team can be very effective because you're kind of leaving them defenseless, basically. So fantastic job from Fruitcakes. Great comeback there. We're happy to see it going to a third game. So there you don't see Pocket League and Ferrets diving Oxy Bleach, but also fantastic job there. Lana Del Rey diving the other two people involved into the team. So fantastic job there from Fruitcakes. Let's see what happens in this third game. I love that this is all going to like you know, the third match. It's always great to see that happen.
Yeah, it's pretty evenly matched. So what's your prediction based on what you've seen so far?
Oh gosh. I think the Fruitcakes are kind of finding their groove, so I'm starting to see them kind of find comps that are working well and that they can kind of figure out really well. Both teams, however, are finding the problem early on, because that's the most important thing to do in a 3v3 is find your problem. So if you're not running a hit scan, you need to be like, okay, we're not running a hit scan, there's pharmacy, how do we find a solution? It's all about finding a solution to the problem. So I've been seeing that Nameless did do that really, really well. That one time when they tried to run Sombra, so it'll be dependent on how quickly they can find the problem and find the solution.
I have really enjoyed watching Nameless play. Those are three people who just met each other today.
Oh wow!
They are sort of a random like ragtag, like the underdog story is what I'm all about. I mean, maybe I should shut up and let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Definitely. I mean, having team synergy is super important. But this game is also a lot about communication. So as long as those three people are communicating well, they can play just as well as a team of people who have been playing for a long time. So it's really cool to see how well they're dealing with things. A lot of it is calling things out, like saying, hey, there's a Sombra, I saw her going left. Now they know what to expect. So as long as they're communicating well, we should be fine. So we see Pocket League running the Soldier, Lucio on both teams, and now we're seeing a more bunker comp. So a bunker is more like a comp that likes to stay together and still and force the enemy team to come to them. So Sasuke, Oxy, Bleach are going to kind of want to play together with that Lucio. And Fruitcakes are running a more divey, more mobile comp that will kind of take that high ground and try to get out to them. Ferrets, they're getting pulled. So that was a pulled pork. I'll explain it once we have a little moment. So that's called a pulled pork combo. Basically, great combination there. Sasuke calling out their pull, Oxy Bleach immediately taking that Diva mech down very early on. Once again, doing it again, Sasuke getting that pull onto Pocket League. So now, once we see Lena Del Rey and getting taken out sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, but that was great tank combination there. The reason I call that combination pulled pork is because Sasuke, who's on Orisa, calls out their pull, which means whoever is in the vicinity gets pulled into that little area, and then Oxy Bleach knows they can hook into that gravitational pull there. So that's called pulled pork because hog is hog, and it's a pull. So it's kind of like a little play on words, but they did a great job there coordinating their pulls and their different abilities. Fantastic coordination from Nameless there. So we're seeing May, Lucio, and Metro on the side for Kicks, and Sigma again. Sigma Junkrat is a fantastic idea, because if you can get that Junkrat settled in behind the Sigma, you can pump out so much damage. Junkrat has one of the best damage output in the game. But Fruitcakes is doing a great job at getting settled into that high ground room. However, if Oxy Bleach just does exactly that, if Oxy Bleach can just get into close range and get those kicks onto Ferrets and Lucio, as he did there. As I said, Junkrat has some of the highest damage output, and it's also great for close range because it's explosive damage, but it does no damage to him in the way that Pharah's kind of rockets do. So once you get into a close room with Junkrat, you're kind of done for. There's not much you can do. There's a lot of splash damage, as we call it in the game. So Junkrat was a great pick there. They played him very intelligently, pushed him into that room and just said, press left click, let's get these picks, and that's exactly what happened. So we're seeing match point again already for Nameless. Great coordination there and great picks. We're seeing Anna, Symmetra, Diva on the side of Fruitcakes, and Ryan, Reaper, Baptiste on the side of Nameless. So Nameless are running a very kind of brawly comp. So brawl means that they like to be up close to their team because they do the most damage that way. And I would say that Fruitcakes are running kind of a similar comp, but they have a little bit more mobility with that teleporter and that Diva. So they're teleporting behind Nameless there, is what we saw. And Anna's getting that quick anti onto the Reaper. The Reaper quickly mitigated that with his Wraith. Fantastic job there at reacting to that. So they saw the problem, hey, they're teleporting behind us, and they reacted quickly there. So a great job there reacting from Nameless. It was a good attempt from Fruitcakes. They did get a solid amount of ult charge, but Symmetra's ult is not incredibly strong in a 3v3, so ult is not really a big factor here. They're teleporting behind again, but Nameless reacting incredibly well to that, using that invincibility field to make sure they're not getting hurt, and Pocket League getting picked out there because the team didn't fully commit. So Nameless reacting super well to that TP behind the enemy team. So now, best win rate they can have here for case is just to get onto them. So we're seeing the ult from Symmetra here, cutting the map in half with the shield. That lets them be a little bit more aggressive. They can play on one side of the shield, but again, Nameless doesn't really have a lot of shield damage kind of damage, so that's not something they really had to worry about. Be good at Oxy Bleach taking out Ferret, and we see Baptiste Fizzle anyways, so it's looking like it's going to go to Nameless. So, as I said kind of at the beginning, Nameless did just a fantastic job at finding the problem and finding a solution to it right away there. They saw the problem, they're teleporting behind us, how can we react? I really hope this is a bolt port combo so I can explain it a little bit better than I did. Oxybridge just did a really good job. This I would say MVP for this round at least. Got amazing hooks onto pretty much, I think, got hooks onto every single person on Fruitcake, so kind of was involved in every single kill there. So fantastic job on both sides, but Nameless just had really good tank combinations there and tank synergy.
Yeah, that last best of 5 for that was pretty brutal. I mean, Nameless is here to play.
Yeah, Nameless not messing around. They've really got great coordination for a team that's just kind of been pulled together today. So they've got really good synergy, especially between their tanks. Oxy Bleach and Sasuke are working really well together and calling out their abilities, because a lot of Overwatch is combining abilities together in the way that Fork does, in the way that Anna's ultimate works with a lot of people. So if you can only do that with really good communication, and so to see that on the side of Nameless.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Can you remind me, Ralph, on the team Nameless, are those folks that have played with us in Thursday Night Games before?
So why don't we actually take a look at the team overview so you can get that sort of visual graphics. So we just saw the Fruitcakes, which were, I mean, they had a bye for the first one, drop into the lower bracket. Kraken Skulls is in the lower bracket as well. But Nameless, the team that we're talking about, Cupcake Ninja, of course, we've seen her before. She was at our Overwatch 2v2. She's played at both of our Smash events, and I'm so glad to see her back. Oxy Bleach is actually a Washington State high school student. He found us through a posting on a Discord saying, "Hey, we're doing Overwatch. Come hang out."
Cool.
So I think he plays esports at his high school. And then Sasuke is somebody I've been chatting with quite a bit the last couple of weeks, actually. He's an incoming GHC student. Definitely, got an eye towards recruiting him, because some of the moves that he's done tonight have been really smart. I like how he plays. But he's also a Valorant player, and we've got a Valorant game coming up in a couple of weeks as well. So him and a couple of others of our sort of regulars, I'm looking forward to seeing them play more. It is great to see people coming back, because you just get to see the different context under which they play.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for that.
So Ziva, can you talk to us about the bracket a little bit?
Yeah, actually was actually gonna note about Sasuke. It doesn't surprise me at all that you say he's a Valorant player, because we saw him a lot on Hitscan, and Valorant is a very first person. It's very shooter based, as in every hero has a gun, which is not always the case for Overwatch. So it doesn't surprise me that you tell me he's a Valorant player, because we saw him on that McCree, saw him on that Hog as well, which is kind of also Hitscan, sort of. So it doesn't surprise me at all. But he's very good on that McCree, so I'm not surprised that he's also great at Valorant. As far as this bracket goes here for our third series, we're seeing the Fruitcakes versus the Kraken Skulls. So we haven't seen these two play before, so it's going to be interesting to see if the Kraken Skulls are going to be as effective as Nameless to react to this kind of interesting plays that the Fruitcakes are pulling, like teleporting behind them, pulling out a Sombra. If that Sombra can get a hack onto that team, on any member of the team, it really puts them at a disadvantage, because they lose all their abilities. And Overwatch is such an abilities-based game, so if you can take the abilities from your enemy team in the way that an anime does, then you really have a good advantage. But as we saw from Nameless, if you can react quickly enough and be mechanically skilled enough to do so, and you can really kind of foil their plans very, very effectively. So as long as the Kraken Skulls can react to Fruitcake's plays effectively, I think they can take this. But Fruitcakes, if they can land some of those plays that they're trying to do, they could really take this out as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes.
Awesome. Well, so we've just reached halftime. We were just looking at the bracket. We've got 2, maybe 3 more matches. We got to drop down to the lower bracket, and I want to see Kraken Skulls against Fruitcakes. And then they got to come back, and somebody's got to try to take Nameless off their winning streak. But let's just take a 4-minute break, get a chance for our team to get into the lobby. People to grab another seltzer water or whatever it is that you. Oh shoot, wrong way. Oh my god, I love these things. I should see if they'll sponsor us.
Sponsorships. Yeah, I was about to say you're giving some free brand sponsorships there.
Basically, I mean, I drink millions a day. Yes, let's just take a short break and we'll be right back. People, stick around, don't go anywhere. We've got more Overwatch action for you here on Thursday Night Gaming with GHC Esports. Okay. The A channel. Oh my gosh. Didn't cut over. Hi everybody. Thanks so much, chat, for catching that. Who do I owe thank yous to specifically? King Louis Val. I'm guessing that's Sosky. Yeah, thank you. Squimple, thank you. Duh. Let me start over again.
You gotta practice.
This fall, Grays Harbor College Esports is kicking off a formal varsity program. We are going to be doing 4 titles: Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Rocket League, League of Legends, and Overwatch. I am actively recruiting for our Overwatch team. We are going to be playing in 4 national collegiate leagues: NJCAAE, NACE, TESPA, and Collegiate Star League. And we are building an arena with state-of-the-art computers and displays and gaming chairs, a dedicated spectator area, LED lighting in the ceiling, because come on, like, if you have a chance, you gotta go for it. It's gonna be amazing. And probably the thing that I'm most excited about is we are really, really focusing on building a non-toxic, inclusive environment that really emphasizes good sporting behavior. And what I mean by that is it comes down to language in a lot of ways. You could talk about the other team as the enemy team, or you could say, well, these are our opponents. And we're trying to see how do we match up against them, and that sort of that good sporting behavior. And I don't say sportsmanship, I say sporting behavior, because I want to be inclusive. This isn't for dudes. This is for people who like games. Do you like games? Do you like playing games? Do you like competitive gaming? Then I want you. I want you to join this program, and I want you to be here. And I want you to give a serious thought about joining our Overwatch team. The best way to do that is head over to ghc.edu/esports. and look for the join team button. There's an esports recruiting form. Use that to drop me a line. I will get in touch with you, and basically let's see if we're a good fit. We do have scholarships available, but mostly I want to give you opportunities to play and grow and improve as an esports athlete. So that's really what I'm looking for. That's the end of my spiel. Ziva, Marcy,
Yeah.
Looks like our teams are in the lobby and ready to go. Should we turn it over to Ziva to see what this next match looks like?
I'm more than happy for that to happen. So we've got the Fruitcakes versus the Kraken Skulls. So now we've seen everything but the Fruitcakes versus the Kraken Skulls. So it'll be interesting to see how these two teams go. We've seen the way that all these teams have played, but not all of them against each other. So we're going to see the way that they're both going to kind of handle different ones. But this is we are on Ilios here, unfortunately for you, Marcy. This is not the well map, but it is the lighthouse, just as beautiful, if not more, than the well house. So we've got Pocket League over here on the Sombra, Ferrets on Diva. So they're gonna try this hack here. If they can get a hack onto Morningstar or Anna or Kua here, nameless, or sorry, Fruitcakes. Nope, wait, I wrote the wrong names. Give me 1 second. Pocket League here is going to get a great... I'm tongue-tied. If Pocket League can get a hack onto Morningstar or Kua here, they're going to have a great time. Or on Blank, basically anybody. If Pocket League can just land a hack, they're going to be at a great winning condition here. So getting a hack over onto Blank, and Blank immediately getting taken down right after. So that hack did a great job at taking away Blank, all of Blank's abilities. Lana Del Rey getting the final shot here as Brig. So now we've only got Anna and a hack again onto Morningstar. So now Morningstar doesn't have recall, doesn't have Blink, has no way out until that hack wears off. So Morningstar doing a great job at kind of playing passively just for a moment until they can get those abilities right back. Then we've got Kua on high ground doing a good job at keeping Morningstar up the best they can, using that nade to keep them up. Getting a good sleep there onto Ferrets. Ferrets is out of the party for the moment. Pocket League did a fantastic job at diving Kua and kind of keeping Kua away from Morningstar just enough time to get them to kind of back off and not be able to heal that morning. Morningstar, though, I've got to say, did a good job of dealing with the hack. Instead of kind of panicking, Morningstar was like, okay, I'm just going to back off for the moment, and then we're going to be fine. So a good job at dealing with it, but Pocket League really did a great job at getting those hacks that they needed to get there. Good job on both teams, and you can tell that it was a good job because the fight lasted pretty long, which meant both teams were doing a good job at keeping each other up and at keeping kind of their distance from each other. So fantastic there for both teams. So we've got Kraken Skulls. We see Morningstar on that Widow, and Kua again on that Anna. It's not that Anna didn't work, but Kua unfortunately didn't get that healing because of how well Pocket League was diving them. So we see Blank on that Ashe, so we've got 2 hit scans here. So if they win, they've got 2 hit scans out of commission. Luckily, there's 4, so got that a huge ante onto Pocket League here on the side of Kua. They cannot heal Pocket League for a few seconds, so now they're gonna have to back off a little bit and give some space over to them. So we see both teams on that high ground. However, Lana Del Rey getting quickly that pick onto Blank and being able to push forward there. So we saw both teams kind of hanging out on high ground, and then one team committed fully and became a little bit more aggressive and got those necessary picks that they needed to get onto the enemy team. So a fantastic job there from the Fruitcakes, just kind of getting the necessary damage and using just the amount of aggressiveness they needed to get to be able to get those necessary picks. So fantastic job from both teams there. But it seems that Kraken Spells are just having a little bit of a difficulty at getting those picks that they need. But I'd say they have a chance here with the comp that they're pulling out. Mei is decent here against Hog. If they can freeze the Hog, it stops him from healing, so they can maybe take him down. And if they can land the nade on him as well, it'd be fantastic. We see them taking that high ground. The Fruitcakes deciding to kind of stay on that low ground, however. Huge ante from Blank over here, making it so that they can't heal. However, Lana Del Rey, and again choosing to use the full name, using those bubbles to get rid of those anti-heal onto Pocket League. Another huge hook, but another nade from Blank here, really taking out any ability to heal, and Morningstar being very aggressive on this nade, getting the freeze that they need to do. Zarya's being aggressive as well. Blank taking out Ferrets in the back. We see some healer on healer violence here. We're seeing Morningstar using freeze effectively here to kind of focus that Pocket League that I was saying. The great way of dealing with Hog there is freeze him, stop him from healing, and that's a great way of dealing with him. Zarya is an effective person to play against Mei, but I'd say picking Mei was a great idea, and we saw here they're taking this win here because of how well Morningstar was pressuring Pocket League there on the Hog, keeping him from healing, not able to kind of back off. You're kind of stuck when you're frozen. There's not much you can do. So Morningstar, I've got to say MVP there, but Kua with those nades as well, taking away those healing abilities is a fantastic way to do that. We're seeing Zen for the first time today. Zen is fantastic on 3v3s because he has an ability called Discord, which ups the damage the enemy takes by 30%, which is a lot. So it means it's a lot easier to kill the enemy when they have Discord orb on them. So if they can just kind of coordinate one person to focus with that Discord orb, they can really take somebody out very early on there. We're seeing that Lucio with Hog Zarya again. So now the Discord is on that Lucio for the moment, which means they have to kind of play a little bit more careful. It makes whoever has that Discord needs to just be more cautious with how they deal with it. Morningstar taking out Ferris with those very strong bombs of Echo there. Those bombs, if they can land all of them onto such a big body as like Hog, very easy to take those out. So Kraken Skull's doing a fantastic job at kind of making a comeback here. They're kind of understanding the way the Fruitcakes play and the heroes they're playing as well, and understanding that they need to be countering the abilities a little bit more, especially Hog here. And so they did a fantastic job there at making it so that they just really can't use their abilities. That's kind of the best way to do that. It was with heroes like Zen, where you can Discord and be like, no, you don't get to use that. You have to play that, you know? So we've got Blank on Tracer, and we've got our lovely Pharmacy here. And we've actually got Pharah on the other team as well, but they already used Mercy, if I'm not incorrect, or they're not running Mercy. So we're seeing Pharmacy versus Pharah. So that means Pocket League has to really do a good job, because Kua is damage boosted, meaning his rockets do more damage than Pocket League's. So Pocket League has to be landing those rockets directly if they want to do the same amount of damage. And it's a little bit on Lana Del Rey as well to be focusing down Pocket League. Lana Del Rey very, very low, and Anna doesn't seem to be able to heal them. However, Lana Del Rey taking out Blank with those bombs. If you can land those bombs, they are killer. Kua taking out Pocket League, however, so they did just lose their Pharah. And Lana Del Rey really is going to have to really focus down Morningstar. Morningstar getting super, super low there. So close, but unfortunately not able to get the final pick into. But as you can see there, Lana Del Rey, oh my gosh, Lana Del Rey, we stand. Rena's doing a fantastic job at focusing down the Mercy. That's who you need to get onto. And so instead of hyper-focusing the Pharah, which is the first thing you kind of want to do, because the Pharah is the one shooting rockets at you, instead of doing that, focus on the Mercy, and that's exactly what the Echo did there. And now, you know, there's not much Kua can do. Unfortunately, Kua needs to be landing direct shots, but right now Kua's just trying to survive. So with a little Echo kind of mosquito flying around you, that's extremely difficult. If Rena can just land one more shot, that's going to be it for there. I'm going to go ahead and give my MVP. I'm starting to give MVP. We're giving MVP now. My MVP is going to have to go to Lana Del Rey, not just because of the name, but just because of how well they were focused down that Mercy there, and how well they ended up taking out that Pharah in the end. So now we've got a play the game Junkrat, just doing great job at diving here, really getting right into the face, because that's the best way to play Junkrat a little bit, is to dive onto that person. They have nothing to do. They can't save themselves from that amount of damage. So fantastic job using their abilities to get into the face of the person. Okay. So great job there from Pocket League. Great job there from the Fruitcakes and the Kraken Skulls. But in the end, it's going over to the Fruitcakes with my MVP being Lana Del Rey.
I love that you're giving out MVPs.
That's it. I'm starting that now.
Nice. That's a thing officially.
If they go to Lana Del Rey, we don't need to talk about it. There's no favoritism. I promise.
Sure. Not a problem. Well, awesome. So let's actually take a look at the bracket.
Yes, it's time to do that.
So that was our first best of 5 for the lower. Actually, I'm going to shut up. Ziva, tell us where we're at.
Right, so we are at our Series 3. Sorry, I kind of got lost. We are going to the finals right now, or do they still have another chance?
Well, I think that was the first of the best of 5s. So that was the very first of the series. So
so we are doing. I thought we were still at best of 3.
Nope. So you're correct. Like there's a best of 5 and a best of 3, right? So in each 3v3, it's a best of 5.
Yeah. Okay. I see what
you're saying. So this was the first one. Yeah. You're having the thing that I had at the very first game when I dismissed Kraken Skulls, and we had to.
Bye.
Yeah.
So
literally
Kraken
bad
Skulls
at my job.
Still has the opportunity to come back here, as we've kind of seen it with our two series 1 and 2. It seems like the teams are rather evenly matched, so it's definitely not the end of the road for Kraken Skulls. They still have a chance. I just wasn't sure if our bracket was updated, but it was. I'm just not updated. Apparently, I need to go to the Apple Store and get myself updated. The Kraken Skulls still have a chance to come back here. I think they did a pretty effective job. We did see it go to that 1-1 or 2-2 again, as it has for all the games, if I'm not incorrect. So we'll see now if they can kind of find what they were doing wrong the first round, the first match, and see if they can fix those issues for the next one.
Awesome. Let's jump into it. I want to see some more Overwatch.
Yes.
So tell us about this map. Ayutthaya?
It's actually a CTF flag, so it's a capture the flag map. So it's not used in comp or really elimination or 3v3s usually. So this is actually my first time kind of capturing this map. It's used for capture the flag, so it's a kind of, everybody knows capture the flag. There's the flag, capture it, and you try to defend yours. So it's got 2 points on each side. So, well, as all Overwatch maps have, there's a point in the middle to kind of center everybody. So we're going to get right on into it with our lovely, beautiful elephant right in the middle, acting as our middle point. And on the side of the Fruitcakes, we've got that Pharah again. No pharmacy this time. That seems to be something that worked pretty well for them last time. So we'll see how it works here. But we've got Morningstar again on that main. Morningstar kind of decently effective against Pharah. They do have that long range. And if they can manage to freeze the Pharah, they can do a fantastic job at knocking them down. But Pocket League doing a great job at diving the Ana, but Kua deflecting some damage right back at Pocket League, taking them out as well. So what we saw there was Kua doing a great job at defending their healer Ana, but Ana does eventually succumb to my favorite, but not favorite, Lana Del Rey, who takes out Genji as well. So of course, fantastic job there from Lana Del Rey, but Moira's a great kind of finisher hero because there's no aim really to their damage click. And so it's a very good hero to kind of finish off anybody who's low, especially Genji, who can't deflect that damage back at her. So a fantastic job there at just finishing off those low health heroes. And good coordination over there, as I said, a good job kind of protecting Kua. Blank Kua did a good job of protecting Blank, but unfortunately not good enough. And I would say Pocket League on the Reaper, Lana on Lucio, and Orisa. Ferret's playing Orisa, and again we're seeing that Mei is effective, but it needs to be done in a very coordinated way, because when Mei freezes a target, that target needs to be focused down really well. So now we're seeing Lana kind of speed boosting Pocket League close to Morningstar, trying to get an early pick there. They're kind of using the Lucio to dive. So Pocket League getting right into the face of Morningstar. Reaper is another one of those heroes that needs to get very close up and personal to the heroes that they can. But Blank doing a fantastic job at picking up Pocket League. They're even right now. Both have healers, but right now Ferrets is kind of going to have to play a little bit back, because Kua, I feel like, has a little bit more damage than Genji, especially with if Blank can land a nade here. So the Genji's going to go ahead and dive onto Ferret. Now they're just going to have to kind of play smart. So I would say there's no real counters here. I'd say they're kind of at an even match. It just depends how they decide to play. It surprises me that Blank is not coming with Kua, but I think they might be just trying to get point control and force Ferrets and Lana onto the point, because then they can do a little bit more damage. A great nade over there from Blank, keeping Kua alive. They might even be trying to build ult, but I think mostly they're just trying to get point control. We see Lucio on the point, kind of just trying to make sure they're also keeping a little bit of control of the point. Getting Ferrets on there as well, and now we're going to see who's going to come out on top. They might be able to build up an ult or two on the side of Genji. Huge nade there from Blank onto Ferrets. So now Lucio did not have the ability to heal Ferrets for a long amount of time there, and unfortunately with how slow Lucio healed, it just wasn't enough. So again, we saw a lot of patience there on the side of the Kraken Skulls. They really just said, okay, we're going to sit on the point, let's force them to come to us, and then Blank landed a fantastic nade onto Ferrets, meaning they couldn't get healed anymore, and then that was that. So a lot of great coordination there from the Kraken Skulls, and a good amount of patience there to just sit back and say, all right, let's wait and let's see how this goes. So fantastic job from both teams, but a great job from Kraken Skulls there. So we're at 1-1. We're seeing Ferrets again on that Sombra. So again, as we saw in the last round, if they can land a single hack, that really puts, especially here on the Bastion, we're seeing a Bastion on the side of the Kraken Skulls. If Sombra actually has the role here, that they kind of need to land that hack onto the Bastion. Because once the Bastion gets set up, it's extremely difficult to get rid of him. But the Bastion doesn't have a shield here, so as long as they get right into his face, they might be able to get a hook here. We're seeing Pocket League really pushing the Bastion there, diving onto the Bastion. Pocket League is bringing a hero that works best in close range. So what Pocket League did there was get right into the face of the Bastion. It's difficult for a Bastion to aim directly at somebody who's right in there, right in front of him. Morningstar taking out Sombra as well. Fantastic job there. So now they're not even. The Kraken Skulls are up, taking out Lana Del Rey finally. They started off strong. I think Pocket League did a great job at getting the Bastion down early on. Unfortunately, I think they didn't coordinate it well enough where they had the support that they needed there. And so it got picked off early on, and then you lose a lot of your damage. Sombra's not a super high damage hero. So it was a good attempt. I think Pocket League did a great job there, but there wasn't enough team coordination to help them through it. Now on the side of Kraken Skulls, we are seeing Mercy Junkrat. That's a high damage output as well with Ashe. We're kind of seeing similar comps here. This is going to be interesting to see. This is going to be more mechanical than anything because they're running very similar comps. Two long-range heroes, one Junkrat, and then a Mercy. So this is kind of where it's more about positioning, mechanical skill, and coordination rather than comps because they were running such a similar comp. And there we saw it mechanically. There, Lana Del Rey, once again, land all the bombs onto Kua, taking them out immediately. Those bombs do a lot of damage, especially when they stick directly to their target. So a great job. Now, Kraken Skulls can be a lot more aggressive. They know they have that ability to do so. So fantastic job, the Kraken Skulls there. And we're seeing it go to 2-2, so it's going to be a very tight matchup here between the last two. It's just all going to really be dependent on comps, I think, just to see what comps they decide to run here. Just gonna get a quick Drink of water though. These matchups are extremely close. So I've got to say, they're all pretty evenly matched. So here we're seeing a very tanky comp versus a more high damage comp. So here, what Kraken Skulls probably wants to and needs to do is keep their distance. If they get into hook range, they can really end up, they're all squishy, which means they're all low health heroes, so they can easily get hooked and one shot by this Pocket League Zarya combo or Hog Zarya combo. Which is high damage, but in a more close range way. So right now, what Kraken Skulls wants to do is keep their distance, and what Fruitcakes wants to do is get up close. So they don't have a Lucio, so that's going to be a little bit difficult to do. And we see it there. Kua, you see them do it very well. They're keeping their distance until they get a pick onto the Zarya, and now they can kind of push and be a little bit more aggressive. However, Zarya doing a great job at getting up close to that to Kua. So we saw that Kua went forward a little bit too much, and Zarya did a great job at getting into their face and forcing them back. But that res comes out, and unfortunately, damage does win there, especially since Pocket League got picked up so early. So a great comeback from the Kraken Skulls there, and they did a great job at doing exactly what I said, is to keep the distance, get a pick, and then be aggressive. Fantastic job from there. Play of the game here from Kua, using the flexibility and capitalizing on that nade that was thrown by Blank. Shout out to Blank there for a great nade. Really game-changing nade. That's where the abilities really come out and taking out that thing. Because the nade onto the Orisa means the Lucio can't heal the Orisa for a bit. And because Lucio is kind of a slower healer, he's what we would call an off healer. Once the anti wears off, he just doesn't have the healing capabilities to quickly get the health bar back up to where it needs to be. And so they can really capitalize on it. It's not even about indefinitely keeping them from healing it. It's about keeping the tanks low enough where the Lucio can no longer heal them quickly enough for it to be a possibility for them to survive. If that was a long-winded way of saying that, but yeah, very, very well done from the Kraken Skulls and a good comeback. We're seeing it go to the next round. So we're at 1-1 now. So whoever wins this next one goes on to the finals against England.
So that last one was in a non-comp map. How much did the map factor into what you saw on the field?
So pretty much all Overwatch maps kind of have a high ground, low ground aspect that I actually don't think a lot of other games, or at least from my experience, like games like Valorant and CS:GO are more kind of corner based, whereas Overwatch is a lot about using high ground and using kind of cover. So that elephant in the middle was actually pretty important, but there was kind of high ground in kind of strange areas. So actually, capture the flag maps are like kind of not the best for 1v1s because they almost have like too much cover, and then you can kind of see that issue that we had on the second game where there's like almost a little bit too much of an ability to be safe, where you kind of want to throw 6 people against each other just like as closely as possible. But there was some high ground there that we saw the ability of the Kraken Skulls there in the last round. They really used that high ground because that's the best they can do as kind of long-range heroes, is to abuse that high ground almost. So I think all maps kind of have their things. I would say just the ability to use the high ground and cover was very important.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because Overwatch has heroes that can actually fly. And in some of those other games, it really is a ground-based. It doesn't go into that third dimension. But let's see what happens. Take it away.
Exactly. All right, so we're on Ilios here. There's a little bit less of short-range high ground, if that makes any sense. So in a usual comp match here, you would see a lot of Widow because they can kind of hang out really far and back. And we're seeing Widow here as well, who probably is going to hang really, really back in the far foreground here. Pocket League, however, getting a hack onto Morningstar. So once again, anytime you run Sombra, it's really going to be onto them to get a hack onto any of the heroes here. Getting a hack on a Morningstar means that they can't recall, they can get that health back. Pocket League getting 2 picks there. Fantastic. Like, really, really good work from Pocket League there. Getting into the face of Morningstar and Blank. When you hack those, you take away their abilities. So it's not so much the fact that you can't use your ability, it's kind of the panic that comes with not having your abilities, especially as Tracer, because she's so ability-based. She only has 150 health. So her abilities are a huge part of her kit. And so once you have that Sombra on you, it's really difficult to pay attention to surviving when you're just kind of worried about the fact that you just lost your abilities. We are seeing Fruitcakes on that Farmer C Echo combo. This is something they seem to run quite often, and it seems to work for them pretty well, because they get to kind of have 2 heroes that can fly, sorry, and a healer that can follow as well, and damage boost both of them. So it's a strong comp, but Kraken Skulls are running double hit scans, meaning they're running 2 heroes that can hit both of those flying heroes, all 3 of those flying heroes actually. So it's going to be a hard task, but it's easier since they are running 2 hit scans. So it'll really be on Kraken Skulls hit scans to hit those shots, just as they did on Pocket League there. However, Echo taking out both Blank and Kua there, so really the only person left up right now is that Ashe. And if an Ashe can land the shots, it's very possible, but it is difficult. Echo is a fantastic dive kind of DPS hero because they can get so close. And with that beam basically what it does is if a hero is at 50% health or lower, it really, really lowers their health very quickly. It's meant to kind of finish off low health targets. So in 3v3s, it's very good because often if you can pick off the healer, a lot of the team stays at a low health. And so you can kind of just dash in, get that pick, and dash back out. So fantastic job there from Lana Del Rey on Echo, getting those necessary picks. We're seeing Pocket League again on Hog. Pocket League seems to be pretty good on Hog. So we've seen them land some really good hooks. So it'll be kind of, we're seeing again that Pocket League tank against 3 squishy heroes. So if Pocket League can hit those hooks and bring them forward and get those necessary picks. Seeing Blank taking out Lana Del Rey very early on. Pocket League, however, getting a great pick onto Blank, so we're even right now. Pocket League getting another pick on the Morningstar. Just as I'm talking about Pocket League, they pop off. Fantastic work from Fruitcake. Specifically, I've got to say, fantastic teamwork, but specifically Pocket League with those hooks, Lana with that Echo work, and Ferris with that Sombra work. So they all 3 brought out their specific kind of abilities. Look at that hook, just as I said it. Beautiful hook, pulling him off the high ground, taking away that high ground power, and then just getting that headshot onto Morningstar. Fantastic work. What I like about Fruitcakes is they've got their abilities to be very good separately, so like as one person, but they also work really well together as a team. So great job, and Kraken Skulls also did it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks to me like Kraken Skulls is the more consistent team. Fruitcakes seems like they have some really good rounds, and they have some rounds where I see, I mean, after you explain it to me, like, oh yeah, why did they pick that? That doesn't work with what they're going into.
Right, yeah. It seems like Fruitcakes has their heroes that they're really comfortable on, specifically person by person. Seems like Pocket League is just really comfortable in that Hog, Lana on that Echo, and Ferret's on that Sombra. So I feel like once they can't really use those heroes, they maybe have a difficulty finding similar heroes that they can thrive on the way that they do on those heroes, whereas Kraken Skulls is good at picking comps that work well together, and it's less about one person popping off, and more about kind of combinations of abilities and just good tank synergy.
Sounds like you have to have a pretty good understanding of the game and all the heroes to make some good decisions about what are good combos together. Yeah,
3v3 is surprisingly deep. You would think that it's kind of like, let's pick 3 heroes and whoever's better mechanically will win. It's really not about that because a lot of Overwatch is countering. So one hero will counter another one, some more than others. So, it's about kind of knowing what the enemy team has run before and making sure that you counter what they possibly could play. So there's a guessing game, there's a lot of strategies, you've got to know all the heroes, you've got to know all the counters to all the heroes. So it's actually a pretty deep game mode.
Cool.
All right, well, it looks like we've got Ilios Well up for the next match. And, oh, wait, was that the...
I believe that was it.
Oh, that was it. Fruitcakes took it, so we're going to the finals.
Yes, we are going to the finals.
Oh my gosh, I'm a map behind, or a game behind. Okay, so yeah, so looking at the bracket, we just saw the end of Series 3. Fruitcakes took it there. I mean, we went to all 3 matches, but Fruitcakes, took it there in the 3rd match to come back from the lower bracket and now it's going to be Fruitcakes against Nameless. Nameless, who is undefeated. If we can have a look at our team overview for today's competitors, just to refresh folks who may not remember, Nameless is actually the group that kind of came together at the very end. Fruitcakes was our champion from a month and a half ago when we ran Overwatch 2v2s. They've added a player. It shows up as Ross here, but I believe the name is Ferret in game. Kraken Skulls is Morningstar's team from Peninsula College and put on a good run, but at this point we say goodbye to Kraken Skulls. Thank you so much, Morningstar, and to Kua and Blank for coming out and playing. It seems like every single game was super close. And then Nameless is the dark horse that came out of nowhere, really. I mean, people that just met today, and they are undefeated as far as the bracket goes. You know, of course, they've lost a few matches. They dropped one to Fruitcakes in the second series, and they dropped one to Kraken Skulls in the very first series as well. So they did lose a game. You know, all of those went to 3 games. But in the finals, Ziva, are we doing best of 5?
We are doing best of 5 for the finals. If unless we feel like we're running too late, it's up to you guys. I would say best of 5 is usually pretty good.
I think we should do best of. You know, we normally try to wrap this up at 8 o'clock Pacific time, but I want to see a full best of 5. I want to see what happens.
Yeah, it would be really cool. It gives a best of 5 kind of gives the opportunity to both teams to kind of learn from the other team. You know, with best of 3, by the time you've learned the enemy team, you've either lost or you won. But best of 5 kind of gives you the opportunity to be like, okay, they like to run these heroes, and this person likes to play this kind of way. So here, I think we've got Nameless, which is from what I've seen from what they've done, is they've got a team that has good tank synergy. So basically the 2 tanks, whenever they do play together, seem to play rather well together. And they seem to have good communication. And Fruitcakes, for me, seems to have 3 people who have strong mechanical skills, which is not always the most important in a 3v3, but it does play a large part into winning as well. So it'll be very interesting to see who wins here. With how tight everything was up until now, I really believe these 2 teams are very strong, and it's going to be a tight one. But we're, Marcy, we're at your favorite map, it seems. The Well.
Yes!
So Ilios Well has this giant pit in the middle, and in comp, it is the bane of many people's existences, because you get hooked, you get pushed, you get booped into it, and so we're seeing that Lucio, Lana Del Rey on Lucio, Reaper, and Diva, and on the side of Nameless, we're seeing Reaper, Baptiste, and Reinhardt. So the only boop potential we really have here is Lucio on this side of Fruitcakes. But I really doubt usually 3v3s are not very kind of boop heavy.
Ziva, I was introduced to the word boop at the last time that we were in this, I don't know, on this location, I guess. What's the difference between a boop?
So a push might kind of be like if a Reinhardt kind of nudges you by like sliding right next to you while charging. So it's more of like mostly sometimes accidental, like, or if a Reinhardt swings, they'll push you in, whereas a boop is more of a Lucio thing. So it's kind of like a legit meant to be very usually long jump kind of thing.
I love it. My word of 2020 so far. Boop.
Boop is fantastic. So we saw that first game go to the side of Nameless, or sorry, Nameless. I didn't see what happened. Sorry, I can't multitask.
It was fast.
It was actually very, very, very fast.
So Cupcake Ninja dropped, but Oxy Bleach and Soski managed to finish off that round really, really well.
Well, very, very well done then from Nameless. But we're seeing that Pharmacy now on the side of Nameless as well. So they're pulling out a strong pick here. Pharmacy, Hog, actually, those are 3 of the strongest 3v3 heroes. So to play them all in one round is extremely, you're committing. You're really committing 3 of your heroes. They kind of want to win this round, or at least, get that point. And if they don't win it, they might want to reconsider playing 3 heroes like that at once, because that's a lot of strong heroes. Our Ferret's going down early. I didn't even see it happen, but they went down early. So, they don't have that healer anymore. They do have the self-heal for Hog, so they know they have that at least. It's going to be again on Pocket Lee to get the hook onto the Pharah there. But a counter hook from Sasuke, that was a huge play from Sasuke. Basically, Sasuke just saved their Pharah and allowed their Pharah to get that pick onto Pocket League. And eventually, Nana unfortunately kills with flash damage. I want to give a huge shout out there to Sasuke. Counter hooking Pocket League. Pocket League had hooked the Pharah, was about to finish that off, but before he could even shoot, Sasuke was like, nope, not today. That's not happening. That's my Pharah. Hands off my Pharah. Fantastic tank play there from Sasuke. Good job. So we're seeing Nameless at 2-0. We've seen this before. So we know Fruitcakes can come back. And they're running their favorite comp here with the Pharmacy and Lana Del Rey on that Echo. So if they can pull off what they've been pulling off with this comp, which seems to be their favorite comp to run, they might be able to take this one. It seems to be kind of their go-to. So let's see how this goes here. And then we see a Bastion, Lucio, Risa there, which can be really strong. But again, they're running a very high damage comp on the side of the Cakes. So as long as they can get close enough, or at least do enough long-range damage, they should be able to deal with it pretty well. I'd say a Pharmacy Echo is a good way to deal with Bastion. If Ferrets can get the res off here, which it seems they can, they should be able to deal with it, especially as it seems Nameless is really committing to getting close there. Pocket League diving onto that Arisa, taking them out. Cupcake Ninja getting headshots onto Lana Del Rey, though, and taking out Echo. And Mercy does not have res anymore. Mercy's res is on a 30-second cooldown, so they probably don't have res for the moment. And it's going to be a risky res if they do decide to do it once their ability is back up. But the bodies don't disappear here, so Mercy can res whenever she wants to. It probably doesn't have it. And it seems that she's doing that, getting that res, doing it fantastically, doing the res, getting out of there. And now they're back to 3. So Mercy's extremely strong on this game mode because they can get you from 1 to 3, from 2 to 3, whereas they kind of don't have that kind of ability to do that on the side of Nameless without running a Mercy. Meta kind of focus, all three of them focusing down that Lucio. Lucio using Wall Ride to kind of try to stay alive. As we saw, Fruitcakes running their kind of strongest comp, it seems there, because they're kind of at crunch time. And they did it fantastic there. Huge shout out to Ferrets with both of those reses, because without the reses there, they would have lost 100%. So great reses from Ferrets, and then great focus fire from Pocket League and Lana Del Rey. A good attempt from Nameless there, but I think Fruitcakes just kind of ran their favorite comp there. So I think we'll probably see another high damage comp from Fruitcakes. That seems to be their thing. We're seeing a Junkrat and Sigma, almost a mirror comp on this, but we're seeing a Brig on the side of Nameless instead of Moira. So right here, it's going to be, they have more healing on the side of Fruitcakes. So it's going to be kind of on Nameless to get into the face of Fruitcakes, because Brig's healing only really activates when she's swinging at something and doing damage. So it's going to be difficult here for Nameless, I've got to be honest, because they don't have as much healing, and they don't have as consistent healing as Moira. Moira can heal no matter what. However, Brig cannot do the same. We're seeing a Junkrat showdown here. Oxy, Bleach kind of trying to be a little sneaky, but Pocket League kind of saw what was happening. Sigma shields are going to be pretty important as well. Whoever's shield goes down first leaves the rest of the enemy team kind of vulnerable, and also positioning is super important here. If you position yourself in a bad place, whereas Pocket League took the high ground immediately, so that's great positioning from Pocket League. That high ground really gives you a lot of play. See, Oxy Bleach over here falling to Pocket League, and as we saw, there wasn't really a lot of healing happening for Nameless, because taking that Brig, that'll just happen, unfortunately. Brig is not healing the team right now, because she can't swing at anything, so I think Pocket League taking out Cuphead Ninja as well, and Sasuke as well. So because Nameless couldn't heal any of the damage being output as quickly as Fruitcakes, they just kind of were at a disadvantage there. But we're back to 2-2. Fruitcakes coming back with 2 wins, and now let's see what gets run here. So if I'm not wrong, yeah, they have to, whoever wins this next one is going to be the winner of this first round. So we're seeing Ferrets on that Sombra again. As has been said before, it'll all be about that hack, or if Pocket League can land some fat antis onto Nameless. And then we've got Cupcake Ninja on the Moira, and Oxy Bleach on Winston, and Sasuke on that McCree that they seem to be really, really strong on. So Let's see how this all pans out here. Sasuke here is kind of want to be looking out for that Sombra, and if they can kind of catch that Sombra hacking, that flashbang and headshot is a one-shot combo onto a Sombra. So that's a kind of great way for McCree to deal with that Sombra. And so we've seen Sasuke land some pretty good hits, so I'm not surprised if that's how it's going to go. We can see the Sombra kind of waiting to go around the back, try to get a hack onto somebody, and let's see how they deal with that. So they did get the hook or the flashbang onto the Sombra there, but Sombra also has the ability to teleport back to a translocator she puts somewhere. So basically, Sombra did what you could there, but McCree has already built their ultimate up. That's actually kind of, I don't want to say surprising, but I didn't see the amount of damage they put in there. That's an ult for the side of Nameless, and that's a zoning ult. Basically, it's an ult that will keep the enemy team there. Away, Lena getting huge hook onto Cupcake. Sasuke taking out Ferris with that same ult that we just talked about. A great ult there from Sasuke. Lena landing some big hooks as well. Lena is we see another another ult coming there from Pocket League onto Lana Del Rey. All right, so I'm about to explain a concept called, I think, C9. Wait, let me just check. I don't think everybody died there. I think what happened is they didn't get control of the point. They kind of forgot about the point, I think, and got off the point. No, okay, just kidding. They all died. Sorry. Either way, GG's to the Fruitcakes, who won that first round there. I thought they had done something called a C9. A C9 is basically when there are people alive, but they're not standing on the point of the objective, so they lose the game because of that. I thought that's what had happened. So that's called a C9 because the team C9 were the first people to do it. They lost a huge competition because they were all pretty much alive, and they kind of just forgot about the main objective of the game.
Wow.
And ended up losing because of that. So now whenever a team kind of forgets about the point, full team alive, it's called a C9.
Ouch.
So I thought that's what
Ooh! You have the whole thing named after you like that?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It really was like kind of a huge deal now. So even in pro play, whenever it happens, they'll call it what it is. It's called a C9. So wow. Yeah, just imagine having that be what you're known for.
Right.
So first game goes over to the Fruitcakes. That was a pretty close game. I think what happened there is Fruitcakes likes to run very high damage. So high damage comps are great, but they're also a little risky because usually high damage means low survivability. So they have to be very good. They have to be very strong and very aggressive. Whereas Nameless seems to kind of run these more survivable comps, so like more tanky heroes that can survive better, but that don't do as well as dealing damage. So they Nameless needs to maybe kind of consider running more high damage comps and more mobile comps, and really getting into the face of those Fruitcake's high damage heroes. So we're seeing on the side of Nameless are Pharmacy and Soldier, three very strong heroes to start with. And we're seeing on the side of the Fruitcakes, we're seeing no hit scan, and actually we're seeing very short range heroes here. So Nameless has a very good opportunity here. If they can keep that Pharah high into the sky, if that Pharah can keep good gas management, so basically keep herself up to the best of her abilities, they're kind of unstoppable because Fruitcakes doesn't have a lot of long range abilities here, and they're gonna kind of have to be hoping they can land a lucky shot, or that the Pharah just doesn't handle her gas well enough and gets close enough to them so that they can land a shot. But this is a lot of long range damage for Fruitcakes, and not enough to deal with it on the side of, or a lot of long range damage on the side of Nameless, and not a lot of things to deal with it on the side of Fruitcakes. So they're gonna have to play. Fruitcakes is gonna have to play incredibly smart here to kind of get any damage onto any of the heroes that Nameless are playing. In fact, Oxybleach already has their ult. They have to be. I was about to say they have to be careful ulting there because they can easily. They put Pharah in a very vulnerable position, but she did get the 2 picks she needed. Sasuke is now pushing in. Lana Del Rey though getting huge picks with those pesky turrets, but Oxy Bleach managing that last pick. So basically, when Pharah ults, she goes completely still and has no way of moving while she shoots rockets at everybody. So it puts her in a very vulnerable position. And what I want to say Lana Del Rey did very well there is they set up turrets in a place that they kind of knew the Pharah would end up. And basically what turrets do is they latch onto somebody and they will slow them down and also do a lot of damage to them. So that's what happened to both Oxy Bleach and I believe Cupcake Ninja there. So a great job from Lana, but Oxy Bleach did a fantastic job at landing those necessary rockets. But I'm going to say Fruitcakes did a good job at dealing with a kind of bad situation. So now we're seeing Oxy Bleach on that McCree with Sigma and Lucio. And then that Brig, Reaper, and Diva comp there. So, Oxy Bleach doing a great job using their stun there to take out Pocket League. So fantastic job dealing with the Reaper there. And now what Fruitcakes needs to do is just get right into their face. However, Lana Del Rey gets cut off from Ferrets. Unfortunately, Ferrets here has no heals, no ability to kind of get into the team. So, unfortunately there, I mean, more fortunately for Nameless, Oxy Bleach did a fantastic job at dealing with Pocket League there. Pocket League dove basically onto Oxy Bleach, and Oxy Bleach landed a fantastic stun onto Pocket League on the Reaper and just took out a lot of the damage that Fruitcakes had. So once that Reaper is gone, you don't have a lot of damage. So a fantastic job there from Nameless. They're doing a very good job at dealing with what Fruitcakes is throwing at them. Alright, so now on the side of Fruitcakes, we're seeing Junkrat, Sigma, and Mercy. This is a very strong comp. You've got, you're giving your Junkrat a lot of space to work with. We're seeing Bastion, Orisa, and Baptiste. So this is going to rely a lot on Fruitcakes working very well together and getting into that Bastion space. They cannot afford to keep their distance here. So it's going to be a lot on Pocket League to get up and into that Bastion space and not allow him to set up in a place that gives him a lot of range there. So Sigma's doing a good job at kind of pushing them back. They're doing something called taking space right now. They're taking up the space that basically Nameless wanted to take. And now I think Pocket League is probably going to flank around behind, which is exactly what Pocket League is doing. He's sneaking behind, hoping to get a few rockets on Sebastian. Sebastian has a spot in the back of him that is more sensible to damage than others. A great job there from Pocket League. And so they did a kind of pincer move there. Pocket League went around behind and put a lot of pressure onto Nameless. And then what Lana Del Rey and Ferrets did was push from the front. So they kind of were being pincered from both sides. That was great coordination, and a lot of damage coming from Pocket League meant a great way to deal with a Bastion comp. So basically, they dealt with a Bastion comp in the best way that you can, is basically catch them out from both sides, but in a way that doesn't leave you too far from them, if that makes any sense. We're seeing the Hog on both sides here. This is a match point for Nameless, but if Fruitcakes can win this one, it's going to be another 2-2 situation. So it'll kind of be on the Hogs here. I think the Hogs are going to have a lot to do here. Fruitcakes has more healing, but Nameless has a lot more damage here. So it's going to be on whether or not that healing is worth the lack of damage, because Lucio and Moira are not huge damage dealers. But however, Reaper is Tracer is a huge damage dealer, and so is Hog. So the majority of the damage for Fruitcake is coming from Hog. If they can land a hook onto Sasuke, though, that's going to be kind of huge. Let's see how this plays out. Tracer using her ability to get away from Pocket League's hook there. So right now, it's kind of waiting to see which Hog can kind of get the first hit. Sasuke also, huge pulse bomb from Sasuke onto Lana. Wow, that was a great pulse bomb. That's very difficult to do. Oxy Bleach getting a good hook onto Ferris as well. Shout outs to Sasuke there. Pulse bomb is a very tricky ult. It's kind of like throwing a little mini bomb and it sticks onto people, but it's difficult to stick onto a Lucio. So a fantastic job there from Sasuke getting that first pick with pulse bomb. Really, really good job. And here we're seeing that pincer move I was talking about. We've got Pocket League on the other side doing a lot of damage, and then Lena kind of coming in with Ferrets and really putting in that damage. Another MVP for Lena there. No, actually, I've got to give my MVP to Sasuke here for that pulse bomb. That was kind of huge. It's actually a game winner, because I think that could have gone to 3 cakes if it hadn't been for that pulse bomb. It's difficult to land a pulse bomb into a Lucio. Lucio's a highly mobile character and also really small. So landing a pulse bomb into a hero like Lucio is very difficult. So I've got to give my props to Sasuke there. Fantastic use of all.
Yeah, Sasuke seems like coming in clutch more than once for sure. And
Yes.
Lucio seems like one of those characters that can dynamically change a given play pretty quickly with like that speed boost, right?
Yes.
Just one of the bajillion abilities that these different characters have.
It's a lot of abilities, and that's actually a very astute observation. Lucio is actually way more important than he seems, even in regular 6v6 play. He kind of gets to decide where everybody goes, because he has that AoE area of effect healing and speed boost, so he gets to decide, we're going to speed this way, because nobody's going to kind of leave Lucio's AoE. It doesn't make sense, so he kind of gets to dictate where you go and how aggressive you get to be. So Lucio is extremely important in 3v3s and 6v6 alike.
Cool.
Black Forest. So what do we know about this map?
This map can be it's less high ground related. It doesn't have a lot of open high ground, basically. A lot of the high ground is kind of in close areas, so we're probably definitely going to see Junkrat, and we're probably going to see the Pharah as well, because there's a lot of open space that doesn't have high ground. So we're seeing Fruitcakes on their kind of favorite comp. I'm seeing this as their favorite comp, that Pharmacy with the Echo, and we're seeing Nameless on that Lucio, Zarya, Genji. So nothing really to deal with that Pharah. The Pharah gets less room to play here with the lack of high ground that's not, in a tunnel or in a house. We've got Echo landing the bombs here, and again, Lena's really good at Echo, I've got to say. Lena does a fantastic job at landing all those sticky bombs and then immediately following up with that beam. That's exactly how you want to dive heroes. But Sasuke did take out Pocket Leaf here. And Ferrets is down, so I don't know that Lena's going to be able to take down both Oxyleech and Sasuke. However, Sasuke is low, so it is a possibility. Unfortunately, I was about to say, I thought they were about to die there. I think, unfortunately, Pocket League either ran out of gas or just got a little bit too close there and wasn't able to kind of get the long range damage, because they had a lot of ability to get that long range damage to really keep their space from Nameless and deal that damage, but I think they got just a little bit too close, because that's kind of how the map is built. There's less opportunity to do things from afar due to the lack of high ground that's not covered. So great first round from Nameless there. Now we're gonna see on the side of Nameless, we're seeing Sasuke on that Hog and Oxybleach on that Mei. Lena on the Ashe here and Pocket League on the Ana. So Ana's really strong in 3v3s because of her anti-nade, which can mitigate the ability to heal or mitigate heals from the enemy team. So it'll all be kind of on Pocket League. I say this kind of at the start of every fight. It's all going to be on usually like 1 or 2 people to do that first pick or first ability use. Ashe also has this dynamite ability here that we're seeing. It does kind of a lot of amount of damage and slow here. So Oxybleach, they're getting picked off. Oxybleach basically walled off Ferrets, but Ferrets did a fantastic job at just kind of pushing forward and doing damage to Oxybleach. So Mei going down early there, and that's a good bit of the damage there. A huge sleep from Ana there. If they can land the nade, it's exactly what they do. They're going to be able to take out Pocket Leaf or Sasuke here on the Hog. And I'll run down quickly what happened there, because a few different things happened there. But two great plays. It was a great play from Ferret there. So Ferret has an ability that stops them from being affected by freezing. So they used it and kind of knocked down Oxybleach on that Mei. And then Pocket Leaf landed a great hook or great sleep onto Sasuke on the Hog, and a great nade as well. So that was just a great use of abilities from Ferrets and Pocket League there on the Ana and Orisa. to take out Nameless is Sake and Oxy Bleach most formidably. So they did a fantastic job there at using their abilities correctly. So now we've got that Orisa Hog Moira. This is a pretty strong comp there. A lot of survivability and as well as a lot of damage from the Orisa Hog. And then here we've got Pocket League on Reaper as well, another close range kind of team. So they've got a close range team versus a kind of bunker team. So it's going to be on Fruitcake to really get into the face of Nameless and get up close and get in there. We've got some boot potential. I thought actually that they were going to get a boot there with Ferrets. We do have a little bit of boot potential here with the cliff being on this side, but most likely that's not going to be the cause of death. So Ferret doing a great job at diving with Pocket League onto the Cupcake Ninja, and a double boot from Sasuke. That was huge. A huge boot from Sasuke, actually. As I was talking about boot potential, Sasuke getting a double take there onto the cliff. Lena's going to really have to pull out. Oh, Lena getting that final shot onto Sasuke. My MVP's pulling through there. That was huge. Huge plays there from Sasuke getting that double pull onto the cliff. I really thought that was going to be it. That was some great Overwatch there. What do you guys think?
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are rare plays to see stuff like that happen, but they're definitely a lot of fun when we get to see them. So we're seeing Pharmacy on both sides with Echo and Tracer. So Tracer has less long-range capabilities, but she can take on an Echo relatively well. And so it's going to be interesting to see here. Rocket League getting that pick early onto Sasuke, though. It's going to be interesting to see here. Cupcake's going to go for the res. I really doubt it, though. She's getting pressured down. Oxy Bleach getting a pick onto Echo, onto Lena there. And we've got Battle Mercy taking out the final one. So Fruitcakes win this one as well. And I think that puts them at 2-0. So they only need to win one more to win the entire match. So, this better be the double pull. We see this double pull here from Sasuke. Really waiting. See, Diva used her boosters there. So her boosters are on a cooldown, and so she wasn't able to lift herself back up. And Reaper, not much Reaper can do there. So a huge pull from Sasuke there, but we've got to say, Lana there getting really a great pick on Sasuke at the end. So fantastic job from the Fruitcakes. I think we saw there again on the Fruitcakes that kind of solo mechanical ability there, especially from Lana there, using boosters, using, as I like to call them, Baptiste moon boots to get above the shield and landing the final shot onto the
Yeah. That, some of the stuff that I saw there, I am so looking forward to going back over, tomorrow, over the weekend, and doing some highlights and also slowing it down because so much happens in such a quick period of time. It's madness. Yeah. I am impressed, honestly, based on the way Nameless proceeded through this tournament. And if we can pull up the bracket real quick, that would be awesome. The way Nameless came through this tournament, I thought Fruitcakes was going to get slammed pretty much right out of the gate. I mean, they had already dropped down to the lower bracket, but here they are at match point for our best of 5, right? Because if they take the next series of 5 inside of that, then they've got 3 wins, and we have a bracket reset. We've got a bracket upset on our hands.
Exactly. I honestly, again, we have that kind of team coordination versus solo mechanical skill, and I think a few times it was solo mechanical skill that won Fruitcakes the different rounds. There was 1 or 2 people left, and they got those pivotal key picks onto those final 2 people that might have been left on Nameless there. So
you're talking about Lana Del Rey, aren't you?
I clearly have a love for Lana Del Rey that I'm maybe not hiding very well, but we're getting fantastic plays, especially on the Echo, and you're seeing them go from healer to tank to DPS and getting some great picks. But Ferrets as well, getting 2 reses on Ilios that one map. So they're all individually very skilled. Not to say that Nameless aren't, but it can definitely turn a fight when you've got one person who just gets those key reses, key picks, key abilities, just like Sasuke did on the pull, but then my lovely Lana Del Rey pulled through there on that final round.
Hold on to that thought, because I think you're about to see Nameless doing the reverse. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
That would be great. More games for me to cast, so I'm more than happy to see an upset here. So we're back on Ilios here on Lighthouse. Usually most teams will fight kind of in that middle open area, depending on what they're playing. So we'll see what they decide to play here. Alright, so we're seeing that Baptiste, Reaper, Diva comp on Fruitcake, so another close range, divey kind of comp. And we're seeing a McCree, Hog Lucio on the side of Nameless, so kind of also a similar divey close range comp. So they're really probably kind of going to clash in the middle. The only thing, Sasuke might be able to get a pick from long range. That would be huge. If Sasuke can get a pick from long range, then Fruitcakes are at a huge disadvantage. But Fruitcakes might do a good job at kind of rotating the way that they are, so going from one cover to one cover. But Sasuke's doing a good job at pressuring down especially Ferrets, making Ferrets use that defense matrix so that they don't have it up for whenever Oxy Bleach can land a hook onto them, which just happened. So no defense matrix, so they're able to get the pick onto Ferrets pretty easily. And now they've just got Reaper and Sasuke getting another pick onto Reaper. So Rocket League wasn't really able to get into the close range, which is where Reaper thrives. And Sasuke was able to keep a long distance, which is where McCree thrives. So that's really where it's the most important aspects. Ferrets getting taken out, and now we've got Lana Del Rey versus the entire Nameless team. Let's see if Planet can live up to my expectations that I've set for them. Oh! My expectations were not met, unfortunately. Sometimes you've just got to admit defeat, understand that there's probably no way you're going to take down 3 of the enemy team. But there, Sasuke did a great job at keeping Pocket League at a distance because Reaper is very good close range and McCree is very good long range. So Sasuke, great job doing good job at also keeping Ferrets, using their defense matrix. So Diva has an ability that lets them kind of eat damage. Being used a lot, then they can't really protect themselves once it's been used. Being Cupcake Ninja on that Mercy, so they're running Mercy, Genji, Winston, which is a dive comp, and a kind of more static comp on the side of Fruitcake. So most likely Nameless is going to dive the Fruitcakes and hopefully get a pick. They're going to be wanting to get a pick onto either one of the healers. That's kind of what you want to do as a dive tank or dive healer. You want to get in there, get a pick on the healer. But Pocket League landing a huge sleep and a huge nade onto Oxy Bleach, forcing Oxy Bleach to pull back, and now they have to kind of play a little bit passively, whereas dive, you really want to be playing onto them. So that was a good example of Pocket League using their nade effectively. Another huge nade there, hoping they can get that. They're hoping they can get that pick on Sasuke, but what Nameless are doing very well is once they're naded, they're like, okay, we gotta back off. So they're doing that pretty well. Here, we're seeing Winston. Winston ult's not the best in a 3v3 because it lowers his damage output. Another great nade, or a great sleep-in anti for Pocket League. Pocket League is hitting these antis. Wow. So I've got to say, Nameless did a fantastic job, but I'm going to give Pocket League my MVP for this round. Zarya coming out with grab. This is where we're seeing Altered kind of factoring pretty well into this specifically, because all of them kind of have high, quick building ults. I think Oxy Bleach is probably going to throw in the towel here. There's not much they can do. They might try to touch, but I think they're probably going to get this one too. The Fruitcakes, my MVP. Oh, unless Pocket League is just landing these sleeps. I'm going to go ahead and give my MVP for that round, at least, to Pocket League. Pocket League was landing every sleep onto that Winston, which is the most important thing you want to do when getting dove as an Ana, and then landing huge antis onto the entire enemy team. So basically that kind of ruins the plans of a dive comp. When you get antied and you get sleep, it ruins your ability to do damage and to heal. So you have to pull back and then redo the dive. So a great job there from Fruitcakes, noticing the problem and finding a solution for it immediately. Great job there from the Fruitcakes. They're back onto their favorite comp, and Nameless is now running a Zen, so that Discord Orb is extremely strong against a comp like the Fruitcakes is running. So they might be able to do something really good if they can Discord an enemy team and Sasuke can land some nutty hits onto them. they should be able to take down this Fruitcake's formidable Aura Mercy comp. However, Oxybleach getting taken down early, so they no longer have access to Discord. Now it's really going to be off to Sasuke and Cupcake Ninja to get this hit. Nameless having to back off now because not only did they lose their Discord, or they lost their ability to heal as well, except for Soldier. Soldier has a self-heal, but it's on a cooldown, so it's not the most dependable heal. So unfortunately, they did lose their heal there with Pocket League getting that pick. They don't have a res. And then Echo getting a quick pick up the Soldier since they were so low. Yeah, Pocket League getting that pick onto Oxybleach there, or I think it was Oxybleach, on the Zen was huge there, because they not only lose Discord, but they also lose healing ability. So I think Fruitcakes, just once they run that comp, they usually win that round. It's kind of been their comp, their 3v3 comp at least. It's a strong comp. It's got a lot of damage and a lot of mobility. So it just seems to be their comp, but now they don't have it anymore. So this is Nameless's chance to pull out their own favorite comp, maybe. So we're seeing that Pharmacy on the side of Nameless with Sigma, which is an interesting choice because I don't know that they get much value off of Sigma, considering that Sigma has a shield and Pharmacy doesn't really benefit from a shield because of the fact that they're in the sky. And we see that they do have hit scan on the side of the Fruitcakes with that Ash, so it's really going to be on Lana Del Rey to hit a shot onto Oxybleach or Cupcake, or Pocket League to land a hook, almost a pick onto Cupcake, finally finishing it off. Pocket League landing a hook onto the Mercy, and that's the best part of Pharmacy that you want to hit is that Mercy. And so you take away the res, you take away the heals, and now all they have to do is get that pick on the Pharah, and get that final pick onto Sigma. And it seems like this is going to go to Nameless. Yeah, I'm waiting for it to have. They're delaying the inevitable. Yeah. So there on the side of Nameless, once you lose that Pharah, that's kind of over. Or once you lose that Mercy, it's kind of over. If you lose the Pharah, the Mercy can still res, but if you lose the Mercy, that's not it. I'm not surprised Pocket League got play of the game here. They had such a great game as Anna. You'll see it here, hitting that sleep, and then hitting that nade onto both the Genji and the Mercy there. So a fantastic job. Then getting that Nano was actually pretty important in dealing with that Genji. Genji can't deflect that Zarya damage, and a Nano boosted Zarya can actually output a lot of damage. So that was fantastic. Great job from Pocket League there.
And, pull up the bracket, but I think we have a bracket reset.
Do we really?
That's Fruitcakes just took the third one, right?
Yes, they did. So I believe that's it.
Well, except that Fruitcakes took it, so that means we've got a bracket reset.
I've never heard that before, but I believe you.
Because it's double elimination.
Right, that's right. They get another.
And Nameless just lost their first round.
That's right. Yes, that's right. They get 2 losses basically. So that's right. We get to see another
best of 5.
Best of 5. Let's go. I'm excited.
Right. Bring it on.
Literally bring it on. Let me just get a quick drink of water before we start. Just a quick.
Yeah. Actually, this is a great moment, Marcy. Actually, I would love to hear just a little bit from you while we take a second, settle in our chairs. Give us something about the college here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wanted to make sure that I'm unmuted here. Well, I'm really excited to see this bracket reset is what it's called, or upset. Regardless, it's been an exciting night, and we have more rounds to have that on top. So again, my name is Marcy Alstrom. I'm the recruitment and admissions manager, and we're really excited to welcome anyone to Grace Harbor College that is thinking of starting their pathway into a new career. Maybe you just graduated high school and want to continue on with your education. Or maybe you've experienced a recent layoff and you're thinking that the next couple months might be an opportunity to enhance your career experience and your education to grow in your career. Well, Grace Harbor College, we're a local community college here in Grace Harbor and Pacific Counties. We offer all different kinds of academic programs. We'll even be launching a few new ones coming in fall. So please be on the lookout on our website for that. if you're wondering if there's opportunity to help pay for college this upcoming year, the answer is yes. And there's lots of different opportunities. One of the best ways to access funding for your education is to fill out what we like to call the FAFSA, or the Free Application for Federal Funding. This application is available to everyone in the country. If you're not eligible for federal funding, if, for example, you're not a U.S. citizen, or there might be some other reason that you're not eligible for federal funding, you can fill out the Washington State application for student aid. It's called the WASPA. So fill out one of those 2 applications, and you'll be considered for financial assistance to go to college. The financial assistance that you receive through those agencies or those forms come in many different forms. One of my favorite kinds is what we call free money, or money that doesn't have to be repaid. Those are often grants. In Washington State, we just approved the funding of the Washington College Grant. It used to be called the State Aid Grant, and the Washington College Grant guarantees funding for eligible students. The decision or the funding of this program essentially ensures that there is more money for more students in the upcoming academic year. So maybe you had someone in your family that attended college a few years ago and they weren't quite eligible for any grants. Just because that was the case in the past, I don't think that that's the case moving forward. We really want to encourage everyone to fill out the FAFSA or the WASPA to be considered for financial aid for the next year. There might be some money available to you. Those applications also enable students to access things like work study funding, which is an opportunity for you to earn money while you have a job on campus, and also loans if that's something that you're interested in or need to access to pursue your education. So if you have any questions about financial aid or your eligibility, please come and visit us at the college remotely at this time, ghc.edu. Click the button up at the top that says Get Virtual Assistance and stop into our financial aid Zoom lobby. We're open Monday through Thursday at this time from 9 to 2, so drop in. Or if you have any other questions about financial aid, you can email us at finaid@ghc.edu. That's FINAID@ghc.edu. So we really look forward to helping anyone get started at the college.
Marcy, your plants are getting some love from chat. I want to give a shout out to Tank Loves Potatoes. Hey Tank, it's always good to see you in chat. Enjoy conversations about COD. You're gonna have to get me into Call of Duty actually, although I shouldn't. Somebody earlier, Ziva, was asking, what is your Overwatch rank?
Oh gosh, I probably not as good as everyone might think based on the amount of knowledge I have on this game. I'm in Platinum in both tank and healer, and silver in DPS. So it's definitely one of those players where my knowledge is a lot higher than my mechanical skill, and I think I struggle a lot with that. So Platinum, we'll say Platinum, and if we want to average it all out, probably high gold. So yeah, I think Overwatch is one of those cool games where you can be very knowledgeable about the game, but still terrible at it all at the same time.
I can relate with Rocket League. Yep. Cool. Okay, well, are we ready to start our final best of 5?
All right,
yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay.
This is cool to kind of get to literally get the most amount of games possible right now.
Max Overwatch.
You're getting the most amount of Overwatch you possibly could get. So we are on. Oh no, they're roasting me in chat. My DPS rank is something I'd like to hide actually, but I know I like to be honest as well. So we are here into another map that kind of has a pit in the middle, but this is not a bottomless one. Actually, it can be pretty important though, because if somebody gets pulled under there, they need to climb all the way back up unless they have mobility. So that pit can be pretty important too. We are seeing Pocket League on that Reaper again. They're running another divey kind of comp. These are actually 2 pretty high divey comps, though I've got to say Nameless is a little bit higher damage here. And there we go. Now they're just going to kind of collapse onto each other. And now Lanagelra getting an early pick onto Oxy Bleach. Cupcake Ninja getting a pick on the Ferris Mech, though. And Pocket League getting that pick onto Baptiste. And it looks like this is going to go to Fruitcakes. Unless Sasuke can pull out some miracle stuff. Basically, they both kind of ran high DPS. They're saying they had an AFK, but I don't think that's what happened there. We all saw them. But we saw two kind of high dive, high damage comps kind of just clash. And there it was whoever could get the shots off, whoever could get the picks, whoever could kind of touch or get the necessary picks there. That was less about comps there and just more about two relatively even teams kind of collapsing onto each other as dive teams do. Now here we're seeing a more kind of static comp on the side of Fruitcakes with Junkrat Sigma, and kind of the same with Nameless. These are kind of two long-range-ish comps. Sasuke on that McCree really thrives on long range, but he can be pretty decent short range as well because of that stun. But they do have the shield on the side of Fruitcake, so that kind of gives them an advantage in terms of they can get more damage without risking their own skin, basically. They're only risking really the shield. Sigma's playing an interesting game though, kind of leaving his team, leaving Ferrets behind. Wow, okay, so I don't know if I want to consider that a mistake from Lana Del Rey. I don't know that Lana Del Rey can make mistakes. Because look at that! The comeback was real. They kind of did leave Ferrets alone though. I feel like Ferrets was almost a sacrifice there. They were kind of like, oh hey, go look at our Mercy over there, she's all alone. And Sasuke kind of went there and got the pick, but while Sasuke was getting the pick, Lana Del Rey was killing the rest of the team along with Pocket League. So an interesting play there. We'll say that they tactically left the Mercy behind to get killed. It was a tactical mistake, quote unquote. Fruitcake's taking this second round as well. We've got the teleporter here from Symmetra, and they can teleport a kind of more static comp, so it gives a little bit of a mobility to an otherwise static comp. And on the side of Nameless, we've got Oxy Bleach on that Soldier, so some long range comp with Sasuke on that Hog. So once again, if Sasuke can get a kind of hook on any of the squishies here, that would be great. But we also saw Pocket League is pretty good on that Ana, so let's see if Pocket League can get any great plays in that regard. Right now they're kind of playing a waiting game. We see Pocket League getting a sleep and a nade onto Sasuke, but unfortunately Sasuke just has that higher damage output and takes out Pocket League, their only healer for Fruitcakes. So now they're gonna have a rough time pulling it together, but they do have kind of a high damage with that Orisa, but Sasuke can kind of just push into them just like they did right there. So as long as Nameless doesn't fall into that pit, they should be fine. As I say it, Oxy Bleach kind of runs in there, all kind of run in there. But I guess that is a good way to deal with it. I didn't know how many turrets they had in there. But you can either choose to capture the point to be safe, or you can be a little bit risky the way that Nameless did and just say, all right, we're going to get into that middle part and just kind of ram into that last person and really take them down. So there's always kind of different ways that people can deal with it. I personally would have taken the more cowardly route and just kind of hung out on point and made that person come to me. But that was the more brave, risky, but risk with reward kind of situation there. So we're seeing Pocket League on that Hog with that Zarya and Moira, so high survivability, versus Nameless, who's on Ryan, Reaper, Lucio, so a little bit less survivability, less healing, but definitely the ability to do more damage if they can get into their space, which we're seeing them do right now with the Lucio speed boost and the Ryan pin. Oxybleach taking out Zarya really early on there, so they lost a lot of their tank potential here. Also Pocket League falling down to Reaper there. So what Nameless did extremely well there is they basically just forced their way on to Fruitcake's space, basically. And Oxy Bleach was playing a very high damage output hero, but his damage is only good close range. So basically, what they did really well there was getting that Reaper right into the face of that Reinhardt. And there's not much Reinhardt can do there. There's not much Pocket League can do there on Hog either, because Reaper does a lot of damage to tanks, and also he heals off doing damage. So they did a very good job picking a great comp and playing that comp very well. Now we are seeing Farah Brig on the side of Fruitcakes with Orisa, which is interesting, but I think that's because they already used their Mercy, if I'm not wrong. And then we're seeing a Ziva, Zarya, Baptiste here on the side of Nameless. So as the rounds start to go on, and especially when you get to 4 rounds done, a lot of the heroes have been used already, so you start to see some more interesting compositions that are not as obvious, but sometimes they work really well. So we'll see how this works out. Alright, so right now we're seeing Nameless kind of getting control of the point, kind of trying to force Fruitcakes to come onto them. But we see bringing them back, trying to get some damage onto Cupcake. They're not really able to. But now, Nameless just did a fantastic job at pushing Ferrets away from the team and diving onto them extremely well. So they took their time kind of trying to figure out who do we dive onto. Lenna's already getting another pick onto Sasuke. This is actually kind of winnable for them. Now, about to say kind of winnable because it was a 1v1, but Nameless did a really good job there at kind of figuring out how to deal with who to dive. Because you want to find the right person to dive, so they did a fantastic job, especially Sasuke, diving onto the right person there, and doing a great job at collapsing onto them here. Oxley Beach doing a fantastic job at doing that close range damage, especially to the tanks here. Not much a Hawk can do against a Reaper. So fantastic job on Reaper there by Oxy Bleach. He's a very good close range hero, so that's how you have to play him, and that's how you win with him.
Yeah, Oxy's doing some amazing plays. I mean, I've been focusing on Sasuke and honestly Lana Del Rey as being some really excellent players, but Oxy's got some really coming in clutch.
Yes, Oxy is kind of very good from what I've seen at like kind of close range heroes. So like those Reapers, Hogs, getting those hooks and pulling them in close and getting that very strong damage against them. So very good. I mean, we see some great plays from Oxy Bleach. Another kind of underrated pick. Pocket League on that Ana is fantastic, and Sasuke on that McCree and also Hog. So we've got some really good mechanically skilled players.
Yeah, the thing that I see, I guess I'm still on an Oxy Bleach run, is he almost seems to play kind of like a glue for his team, like helping to pull together plays without doing the flashiest part of it.
Yes. That's true, and that's where a lot of the beauty can be in this game. Is it's not always the most obvious kind of popping off DPS that will like be the most amazing. Sometimes it'll be kind of somebody who puts together a play that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for them. And I think Oxy Bleach does a good job at doing that as well. A very great observation there, definitely. So this is a very strong pharmacy map, and we're seeing Fruitcakes pulling out their favorite comp right away from the beginning. But Sasuke is on that McCree, and Sasuke can hit those shots. So they're going to have to be careful, play their corners, play out of sights a lot of the time, because Sasuke is a good McCree, and a good McCree can really ruin the day of a comp like this. So they're going to have to play safe. Right now, Nameless are positioning relatively well, positioning out of sights, out of the open, and just trying to get a pick onto anybody here, preferably the Mercy. But anybody is a good pick, because then that Mercy, when they go in for the res, they're very vulnerable, and you can kind of try to get a pick off them. Now they're doing a kind of pincer move here. Fruitcakes and Fruitcakes as a team is kind of trying to come at them from different angles to try to pull one out, or just get a pick on one of them here. This is going to be kind of a slow game. Sasuke getting that pick onto Pocket League, as I said, very good at hitting those shots. That's the kind of McCree that I want on my team, who can hit a Pharah. That would be lovely once in a while to get somebody like that. So huge pick there on Sasuke. Ferrets is being intelligent by not going straight for the res, kind of waiting it out, seeing if there's a safe time for them to go for that res. If they even do decide to go for that res. It's a risky one. I don't unfortunately get to see where the body is, but they can't. Ferret's getting picked off here, so right now it's all up to Lana Del Rey to get a pick or 3. To be able to win the point. But I've got to say, Nameless is not on the point. So if Lana Del Rey can just get onto the point and capture it, they might be able to win here if they can't get on the point fast enough. Oh, so close. That would have been so clutch. It's not over until it's over, I'm just saying. So using ult here the side of Fruitcakes, or should I say, I guess Lana Del Rey now. Lana Del Rey's ult, or Fruitcakes, or Echo's ult, sorry, is basically they get to copy. What? Sorry,
Oh my god.
Holy wow. Okay. Now y'all know why I have Lana Del Rey as my MVP.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was super clutch.
I cannot believe that he pulled that off.
Yeah, that was so, you know, Echo ult is very powerful there because Echo gets to basically copy fully whoever they decide to pick. And picking Sigma was great there because then they get a lot of survivability, a lot of health. And Sigma ult is a very strong ult, and that was fantastic Echo play from Lana. Like, seriously, that was amazing. Definitely MVP of that round. They literally clutched it out for their entire team. That was huge. But now they don't have the Echo anymore. So, you know, I think Echo is definitely Lana's stronger hero. They don't have that for the next few rounds, so it'll be interesting to see if they can still pull something off. Sasuke back on that McCree, we saw him do really well there, but unfortunately, Lana getting that clutch play, it just wasn't possible. But Sasuke did get that first pick onto the Pharah, which, you know, normally would mean that win, but not in this case. Sasuke getting a pick up to Lana Del Rey now this time, so, you know, picking the hero they saw is giving them some issue. Oxybleach getting a huge pick on a Pocket League there as well. Very well done. So now it's just Baby Diva getting back to mech, however, so still capable of getting it back, losing the mech almost immediately. It's a 3v1. Unfortunately, it's a little more difficult to make a clutch play as Baby Diva versus Echo. So, Ferrets, don't worry, we're not upset with you. We know it's hard. So, great job there. I've got to say Sasuke did a fantastic job at getting an early pick onto the Lucio there, and then overall just getting a lot of damage output into Fruitcake. So, great job there, especially from Sasuke. A valiant effort from Fruitcakes, but I think Nameless just had a good amount of coordination there. They moved together as a unit, and they let Sasuke kind of get the damage they needed to get. So now on the side of Fruitcakes, we're seeing Junkrat, Sigma, Moira, a strong team, and we're seeing side of Nameless, Hog, Reaper, Break. So those are two. One of them is a more long range, but can be close range comp on the side of Fruitcakes. But Nameless is running a comp that needs to play in the face of the enemy team. They have almost no long range damage. So they need to either get a hook onto somebody, or they need to just get up there, get in their face, and get those picks and get that damage out. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this. If they play it too far, and they just kind of sit back and let Fruitcakes get their damage out, then they could possibly lose it because of that. So they kind of need to sit back, think about the best way to approach this. So let's see how they decide to do that. And so they're getting point control, which is a good idea, because that kind of forces Fruitcakes to come onto them. But Lana Del Rey getting another pick onto Cupcake Ninja right away with that Sigma Rock. Pocket League kind of pressuring down Sasuke over here. So now that... However, Nameless is playing as their win condition. They're playing in close range. Pocket League, Sasuke taking each other out. So now it's on Oxybleach to carry, fortunately not able to. I feel like that was a closer match than it seemed like it. Both teams did a really, really good job at playing their comps the way they needed to be played. But that first pick onto Lana was that first pick, forgot who did it. It's getting a little late, my apologies. But that first pick was very important there to just kind of be able to then kind of snowball the rest of the picks into there. My eloquency has left me, it seems. Alright, so we've got Hog, Pocket League on Hog again. Pocket League on Hog is pretty strong. So we're going to hopefully see some good hook plays with Sombra's hack here. So if Sombra hacks somebody, there's no way they can get away kind of from that hook unless Pocket League misses it. So if Ferrets can just hook, especially hack that Genji or that Brig, or honestly any of them, they'll have a really good win condition here. So it'll once again be on Ferrets to get that early hack onto them. I think running Sombra in the 3v3 is very fun to watch because you kind of get to see the way they decide who to who to attack. So a huge hack on the Oxy Bleach here, so they don't have any way to protect themselves. And then Lana Del Rey kind of capitalizing on that because they have to back off. So a great coordination there from Fruitcake. And Ferret's getting another hack there onto Sasuke. So Genji is one of those heroes that gets very affected by hack. Pocket Lee getting a pick onto Oxy Bleach, and here Sasuke is gonna have to really pop up. He did ult there. Huge hack. I want to explain how huge that hack there was from Ferret's.
What just happened?
So Sasuke basically ulted as Genji, but he can still be hacked when he's ulting. So Ferret's basically hacked him, and so he had no ability to dash. And dash is his movement ability, so he couldn't even get anywhere near the enemy team, and then all they had to do was hook him. There was that clutch play by Lana Del Rey getting 2 picks. As I explained, the bombs do a lot of damage, and then that last beam move that they use to get the final pick does a lot of damage to low health heroes. So fantastic play by Lana there, and fantastic play by Ferret's getting that hack onto Sasuke while they were ulting. Just very, very, very good. Again, we're seeing people who know their heroes in and out and know how to use those abilities to get those key picks at the beginning or in the middle or the end of the fight, as we saw there.
Yeah, well, we're also seeing people who know the other team, but are also committing to taking some risks. There are some riskier moves here, and some of them are paying off.
Definitely, that's something that we can definitely note. That's the fun thing about. I mean, they've now played like almost 10 rounds against each other or something along those lines. So they now have started to kind of understand each other and kind of understand what they all thrive and are best at. So it's really interesting to see how this is going.
So taking a look at the bracket, just real quick before we jump into the next game. We are in the bracket reset. Fruitcakes and Nameless are tied up. This is still anyone's game. Let's take a looks like we are on what map is this, Ziva?
This is Oasis Gardens. Oh my gosh, my memory has left. This is Oasis. This is one of the Oasis maps.
Okay.
Are we 2-2 in the last bracket?
It is Oasis Garden. I think I'm losing you guys a little bit.
What's that, Marcy? You're cutting out a little bit.
Are we 2-2 in the last bracket?
We are in the last bracket and we're 1-1.
1-1.
So that is indeed Oasis Gardens. So it has a good kind of middle part and a lot of high ground there. So we're going to see a lot of dive heroes and a lot of hits in. Sasuke diving onto Pocket Lead, or getting dove by Pocket Lead, but getting the support they need to be able to take out Pocket Lead, actually. And then we're seeing Ferret's kind of staying on that high ground, trying to get some damage from afar without getting hurt themselves. But we're seeing here, Zarya is a counter to Diva. So we're seeing Ferret's having to play a little bit careful because they have to play around that Zarya. And the reason that Zarya is a counter to Diva is because they can do damage that Zarya kind of, or that Diva can't really eat or protect themselves from. So we're seeing Ferret's having to play extremely safe, especially considering that they lost their Winston early on. I think the best thing here is they're gonna have to kind of collapse onto Cupcake and Oxy because they are down as well something. So that's exactly what they're doing right now. They are collapsing onto them, kind of diving onto them as a unit. Lana Del Rey taking out Cupcake Ninja's invincibility, but also Cupcake taking out Ferret's mech. And once Diva's on a mech, she doesn't get to do that much damage. Oxy Bleach, however, taking out Ferret's as well. Lana Del Rey taking out Cupcake. So it is a 1v1 right now, a Brig versus a Zarya. Zarya probably has the winning, the ability to win here, but either one of them do. And actually, all Lena needs to do right now is cap the point. I don't even know if Oxy Bleach can reach the point in time. Yep. So basically what happened there is Oxy Bleach is running Zarya, and Zarya doesn't really have any movement abilities. So right there, the minute I saw them go past that certain point, I knew that there was no time for them to even touch the point, or even get to the point. So I think we saw our first cap of the day, or I might be wrong in that. At least the first cap.
Second one.
Second cap of the day, right. Second cap with somebody still alive on the enemy team. So that was just really well done on Lena to spot, like, okay, they're not going to be able to make it onto the point, so I'm just going to go and cap it. Sometimes, as I said, you don't need to kill everybody. You just need to cap the point. So we've got Junkrat Sigma Moira again on the side of Fruitcakes. This seems to be another comp that they like to run as well. And we've got Sasuke on the McCree again. So, you know, if he can get those shots the way he's been hitting them, we could see Sasuke really getting some key picks here. Alright, so we've got kind of both teams keeping their distance because they are kind of both long-range teams, or they're decently good at long range. But Junkrat, it's most likely they're going to kind of come and collapse onto Nameless because Junkrat does thrive also in close quarters. So it'll be interesting to see Sasuke getting a huge flashbang onto Ferris there, getting that key pick onto a healer. That means Nameless doesn't have any healing right now. So there's not much they can do other than pop off. Now we're going to go ahead and see if Sasuke can get that pick onto Lena, which they do, or I guess Lena kind of... Some heroes have splash damage that will actually allow them to kill themselves. Usually it's when they're really low and kind of in close quarters, it can happen that way. I think what happened there is mostly just Sasuke kind of hit their shots. Fruitcakes did a decent job at kind of collapsing onto Nameless, but sometimes it's just about getting that like important pick. It's all about that DPS just kind of hitting those shots that they need to hit. And Sasuke did a great job at flashbanging ferrets early on and getting them out of the fight. But we are seeing Fruitcakes on their favorite comp again. I don't even need to tell you what it is, because at this point we've seen it so often, but it works. It really works very well, and we've seen some clutch plays both from Pocket League, Lana, and Ferrets, so we know that they're all very comfortable on these heroes. And also, we're seeing a lack of hit scan on the side of Nameless, because they did just win with Sasuke on the tree, so they don't have access to that anymore. We're seeing Winston diving away, kind of Lana flying after them. They've got a lot of mobility here, but so do Nameless. So it's really going to be on which team uses their mobility and damage the best here. Sasuke using recall pretty early on, so he doesn't have that for a bit. And so now they can kind of focus him down a little bit more. Fruitcake's also taking point control, so that's forcing Nameless to kind of come onto them a little bit more aggressively than they might have needed to if they had taken point control themselves. But now point control has switched over kind of to Nameless, so now it's more on the Fruitcakes to do the diving. Sometimes that'll happen, kind of like a seesaw of point control back and forth. Alright, we see Echo getting that early pick on the Winston, and they have no res, so now it's really going to be onto Lucio and Tracer to work together as a team. But Echo once again diving, a great dive hero, great hero to work with together. Sasuke getting a huge pulse bomb onto Pocket League. If Sasuke can really pop off here, maybe while Ferris is resing, it's difficult. It would be really difficult. Sasuke did a fantastic job. Shout out to them, but this really seems to be Fruitcake's kind of go-to comp to win. I don't think they've lost with this comp, but I might be incorrect on that, but they're really strong with this comp. But now they don't have it anymore, so this might be Nameless's chance to get that second point. Alright, we've got Cupcake Ninja on that break, Oxy Bleach on Hog, and a kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a strange comp for me to run a Genji with a break Hog, but it might work out for them. And then we're seeing Sigma Junkrat, which is a great comp to run with Baptiste. So they have a lot of long-range capabilities here, but also Genji's pretty decent against Junkrat in certain aspects, because he can deflect a lot of that damage back at him. Which kind of leaves Junkrat in this position where he can't. Big hook from Oxy Bleach, not able to capitalize on that, but Sasuke did dive Ferrets very well, so now Fruitcakes has no healing capabilities. They're going to really have to focus on damaging and being aggressive and getting a lot of damage off the Nameless here. Cupcake Ninja is low, and so is Oxy Bleach, but Oxy Bleach getting a huge pick off the Sigma. Sasuke diving Pocket League very well. Pocket League getting rid of Sasuke, though. When Junkrat dies, he leaves behind a pile of bombs, and they detonate almost immediately. So that's how Sasuke died there, to the Junkrat's past him, which is called, I believe, Total Mayhem. And it's a funny way, it's a sad, embarrassing way to die, but Nameless still takes the point. So great job on the Nameless there. Definitely shout out to Sasuke for doing a great job at diving, and of course Oxy Bleach, great on that Hog, as we've seen before. So now it's going to be interesting to see what they run. I feel like Fruitcakes and Nameless have kind of run their favorite comps already. So they're probably going to be running some interesting things. And I was interesting. Ash, Hog, Moira, which is actually pretty strong. And we see here Orisa, Hanzo, Lucio. My guess is Orisa, Hanzo are going to set up on high ground and kind of try to get damage done. Or at least they're going to keep their distance. Hanzo, as you can see, is on that high ground. Orisa, so as I anticipated, Orisa, Hanzo, and Lucio are going to be taking that high ground. Lucio kind of wall riding back and forth between the two to kind of keep them both alive and do well. So here Hanzo has the upper end by being on the high ground. If you can just get a pick, as we've seen Sake do before, might be able to do that. Using Sonic Arrow there to get an idea of where they're coming from. Great job evading the hook there from Pocket League. I think he would have landed it there if Sasuke hadn't reacted to it. Sasuke kind of getting really into Fruitcake space, but coming out right away because Sasuke does have that double jump ability that lets him kind of escape. So get in there, get a few shots, get back out. So he's a good kind of long range hero, but also kind of a decent short range hero. Obviously getting that pick onto, or getting that hook onto Sasuke, not able to get that pick. Huge dragons there from Sasuke, taking out Ferris, Oxybleach taking out Lana. Great job there, I think, from Sasuke getting that ult. And then they finish off there. So if you hadn't seen those dragons before, that was Hanzo's ultimate. It's extremely strong, but it's also kind of difficult to land. So very good job there from Sasuke to land those there. And Oxybleach, shout out to them as well for taking out those last two here. So here we're going to see the dragon from Sasuke. And Ferrets is fantastic at using that tank ability of kind of like muscling their way into the enemy team and taking out everybody. So great, and that was great example of tank DPS synergy. So the Hanzo and the Orisa working really well together to take them out. So fantastic job there from Nameless, taking the win. And yeah, no, that's really kind of a cool thing as a caster. I used to kind of like jokingly cast soccer games when I was like younger, so I would kind of be like, oh, they should really take this person off and put this person on. Like, not even a minute later, usually they would do just that. And honestly, as a caster, it's kind of the funnest part of casting is just kind of seeing you get that confirmation that you maybe kind of know what you're talking about. So it's been really cool to be like, hey, I think they'll do this, and then they get to do it really right away. So this has been a really cool experience.
Thanks, Squimples and Kelly in chat for calling out when I'm muted. I appreciate that. I am unmuted now.
I realized I was.
It's a team effort.
Yes. And it looks like we're heading back to Eco Point.
Ooh, okay, Eco Point. So, looking at the bracket here, if Nameless wins here, they win the entire series. So, this is a pretty important one. But Fruitcake still has the chance to pull it out here. And we've seen, especially my main lady or main singer, Lana Del Rey here, has been really doing a great job with those clutch plays. But also, clutch plays are not consistent. So, you know, you can't really rely on them. So, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that same clutch play energy for the rest of this comp. It's rather taxing on a DPS or on a person to have to keep making clutch plays like that. So it's not always something you can fully rely on. It looks like we're restarting the game.
We had an AFK, so we're going to restart.
Great.
And it looks like he's back, so we'll just jump right back into it.
Perfect. Well, Point still stands. It looks like we're going to Ilios Lighthouse. No more Eco Point Antarctica. For us, unfortunately. Oh, I know, and you guys picked the Christmas one too, which is like lovely. It's so pretty. It makes me want Christmas, especially because I live in Florida and it is so hot right now. Please give me my winter back. I want it. I'm not from here. I don't like this.
Come on up here anytime. We have had cool weather for far too long now. Like, bring a little bit of sunshine, or just come up and enjoy the overcast.
I might just have to take you up on that one day, definitely. Alright, so we've got Fruitcakes, Nameless. Nameless, if they win here, are going to take it. But if Fruitcakes wins here, which I believe they won last time on this map, they're going to move on to another round. So we're seeing Pocket League on that Reaper. Pocket League on Reaper is pretty strong. Oxy Bleach, I don't think we've seen Oxy Bleach on Ryan before, so this will be interesting. Ferrets here is going to probably want to get a hack on somebody. Huge hack there onto Sasuke. Sasuke does not have flashbang anymore, so they really have to kind of focus Sasuke why he doesn't have it. Great job there for Pocket League. Pocket League was able to be more aggressive there due to the lack of stun. However, Lennon already getting taken out by Fire Strike there. That was a fantastic Fire Strike by Oxy Bleach. That ability is just very difficult to land. It's not accurate at all. It only goes one direction, but it does 100 damage. So if somebody is low enough, it can take them out. Right now, this is a 2v2. Ferret's getting a huge hack onto Reinhardt. That takes away his ability to use shield, so he can't protect his team. So right here, it's going to be on Cupcake to kind of keep them all alive. Oxy getting that pick onto Reaper. Fantastic tank healer play there. Great tank healer synergy between Cupcake and Ninja. Cupcake keeping Oxy alive long enough for him to be able to swing at Reaper. Because often as Reinhardt, you're swinging at that Reaper. If you don't have a healer, that Reaper most likely is going to win because he's self-healing as he's doing damage. So right now, Ferret's, is gonna... Yeah, there's not much Ferret's gonna do, unfortunately. Ferret's didn't have a healer up anymore and could only rely on health packs, which don't give that much healing, especially that one behind Lighthouse. So overall, I've got to say, props to Oxy Bleach there and Cupcake Ninja for that tank healer synergy. Sorry. All right, we've got the first round going over to Nameless. Once again, great job there on Oxy Bleach and Cupcake Ninja. We've got now another kind of divey comp with Diva and then Moira Lucio. So they are committing 2 healers to this comp, which is quite a few. So if they win here, they no longer will have the ability to use Moira and Lucio for the next few rounds. So that's something they're taking a risk here. But as you said, we're starting to see kind of riskier comps that are paying off. So maybe this will pay off for them. Cupcake Ninja on that Ana here, so they've got that maid, which we just saw Ferrets eat with their defense matrix. So great job from Ferrets there to eat that. Oxy Bleach not landing a hook up to anybody. Cupcake getting a little bit low here. Pretty. They're gonna have to back off here. Cupcake doesn't have that ability. Healer's getting picked off on both sides, and Ferret's getting a pick off to Sasuke there. If Fruitcakes look like they're just kind of backing off to kind of heal, let themselves kind of reset abilities. But Fruitcakes did a fantastic job there at diving together as a team, getting into the face of Nameless and forcing their healers like Cupcake Ninja down and Sasuke as well. Sorry. Alright, I have terrible allergies. Oxy Bleach here is not going to have a fun time here, especially with Moira. Moira's ult does build up as well very quickly. And it's kind of an ult that does damage and heals as well. So it's very strong in 3v3 because you can keep your ally up, but you can also take down the enemy tank, which is exactly what they just did right there. Diva behind you. I think my dad was going to come in, but probably heard me talking. So we've got Fruitcakes on their favorite comp here. So they're like, all right, we won that last round. I think we can go ahead and pull out our next comp, because if they just win this round and then the round after that, they kind of get to move on to another round. So a fantastic kind of job last round from Fruitcakes. Again, diving very effectively with that Diva Moira Lucio. But they are starting to kind of dwindle down their healer options here, having run those 2 healers the last round. So they better kind of hope they win this round here. They're going to go ahead and dive onto Orisa Hanzo here, which as I said they should. They're taking that high ground there. However, Hanzo did, it seems, get cut off from his team, so unfortunately wasn't able to kind of protect Orisa there. And Pocket League did a fantastic job there diving with Mercy as well. For me, what happened there, Sasuke got cut off, it seems, from Oxy Bleach and Cupcake. They were on the high ground, he was kind of on the low ground, and then he got pressured down by Pocket League, so they couldn't really get back up. And so that was a really great job for Fruitcakes, splitting them up so that they couldn't play together, which is kind of the kind of comp that we're running. Nameless were running a bunker comp style, which is usually what happens when you run an Orisa. So splitting up a bunker comp kind of means that bunker comp's demise, basically. All right, Fruitcakes running. This is match point for Fruitcakes. So if Fruitcakes wins here, they get to go another round, and then we get to see another round of Overwatch between these two really close teams. I mean, these teams are basically all at the same level. This is really great Overwatch we're seeing. Oxy Bleach on that Hog. So we're seeing Hog on both sides, and then kind of two divey EPS. Sasuke diving onto Pocket League hitting a great anti onto him, forcing him back. Now the Hogs are kind of duking it out, so let's see which goes with the other one. Ferret's kind of looking for a hack here, not able to do so because they're kind of looking for huge sweep from Pocket League here. Let's see if they can capitalize on it, and they do. Lana Del Rey coming in, hooking, and getting rid of that side. However, Oxy Bleach getting a huge pick onto Pocket League, and a huge ult from Lana Del Rey, pushing back both Cupcake and Oxy Bleach, kind of allowing Lana to get a breather, catch a breather. And that's funny because that's the name of the ability that just used. But Overwatch jokes, only Overwatch, and we'll get it. We're seeing now Lana kind of. There's Fruitcakes' win condition is not very high here. Oxy Bleach has ult, and it's kind of very risky for Lana to kind of push up here because Oxy can use his ult as a boop, or Oxy can just delete Lana from the game in the way that they just did. So we saw once again great synergy between Nameless there that I think was just kind of lacking from Fruitcakes. They kind of split up, I feel, a little bit once they got that first pick onto Sasuke, and Nameless kind of managed to stick together and fight it as a team. So great kind of synergy there from Nameless, but both teams did really well. That was seeing how fast or how slow that round went, and the fact that they both got ults. You can tell that these lineups are just really, really tight. We're seeing some strange comps here. Well, not so strange, but kind of we could see they're running out of heroes to play that they're kind of really comfortable on. So we're seeing Sasuke on Tracer, Oxy Bleach on Sigma, which I don't think we've seen before from them, and then Lucio, Cupcake Ninja on Lucio. So we've got more healing on the side of Fruitcakes with that Baptiste. Baptiste outputs a lot of healing. And they do have that Hog on Nameless. Huge hook onto Sasuke, but not able to capitalize on it. Sasuke using Recall to get out of that, if I saw. Sasuke pressuring down on Pocket League, trying to get kind of an ult, probably trying to build ult. Hog is a very good hero to build ult off. He's got a lot of health, so as a DPS, if you can kind of shoot him for a while, you build ult just like the way Sasuke just did. Landing it onto Zarya. However, Zarya protecting himself with Zarya Bubble. Actually, all Sasuke did was give a charge to Zarya there, so allowing Zarya to get more damage output. So it was a smart play from Sasuke, but unfortunately, you have to think about those Zarya Bubble cooldowns, and it doesn't seem like they fully thought it out. So that allowed Fruitcakes to get the necessary picks onto Cupcake and Oxy, and now Sasuke is going to have to really pop off if they want to win here. Fortunately, they can't, so Fruitcakes wins this round, and we seem to be going to one more round. So this is the penultimate round. Whoever wins this one wins the entire thing.
Woo!
We got players in here. Pocket League on Pharah. It's really a strong Pharah. Definitely a hero you can tell they're comfortable with. Really knows the mechanics and the abilities extremely well.
You know, we've been pretty evenly matched almost this entire game, which is, I mean, that is the best. That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
And it is a real testament to the balance, because I don't think these players in particular, if they were solo queuing, would queue into each other. And yet when they come together in a combo, they are really evenly matched. Smart picks all around.
Definitely smart picks, smart plays, great communication. Obviously, we can't hear their comms. That's always something that's cool to hear. I love to listen to pro comms sometimes because you gotta get to see how they work together. So we can't hear their comms, but you can definitely tell they're communicating, and that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't realize is so important in Overwatch. Communicating things, communicating what ults to use, how to push, where to go, who might be flanking from the enemy team. So I'm seeing great communication from them. You can kind of always tell, even without listening to the comms, that they communicate together.
Well, they all fall back at the same time, but they all decide to push at the same time. And you see when it happens at exactly the same moment, they got to be having good comms.
And that's something that can really be lacking in competitive and random in just normal competitive play, especially when you're solo queuing. You're kind of queuing with random people. A lot of people don't like to talk. It's difficult to coordinate with strangers or with people who aren't willing to communicate. And so I think in solo queue, some people might not get to have their full potential. So we're seeing people at their full potential here, I think. All right, Fruitcake's immediately pulling out their favorite comp. We're seeing, I haven't really found a favorite comp that Nameless likes to run, I think, but they're just good at playing together. I don't think it's more of like a team thing, less than a comp thing for them. So we're seeing Oxybleach on that Rhine, Cupcake Ninja on that Baptiste, and Sasuke on that McCree. So I do have to say Sasuke seems to lean towards that McCree, and rightfully so. He hits his shot fantastically well, just as he does right there. Getting that shot onto Pocket League, and now they're going to really rush forward. Nameless is going to rush forward to not allow them to get that res, but Sasuke getting another pick onto that Mercy, and that was just fantastic play from Nameless. Not only from Sasuke, I mean, Sasuke evidently got the picks, but they saw, okay, we've got the pick on Farah, now we all push together as a team. That's where that communication comes in. They've all noticed that Farah is down, and they don't want to allow that Mercy to get a res off, so they just push forward, make sure that they are aggressive enough to get those next few picks that they need to get.
Yeah, that seemed huge. So Nameless goes, they see Fruitcakes has this combo that they've used over and over again to win, and they just immediately neutralize them, knocking them out for that combo for the rest of the matches. That is a really smart play, and that might be the one that ends up deciding what happens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they did definitely saw, okay, they're playing their favorite comp, and they usually play it early on, so let's kind of counter it right away. However, I do want to correct you, because they lost, they still get to play that.
Gotcha.
You'll lose the ability to have those heroes, you win with them. So it's kind of a strange rule, but it's made for that purpose that, the teams that still gets to lose, they still get to have that comp the way they want it. So because they didn't win with it, they get to use it again. But I feel like they understand that Nameless has kind of caught on, and so that they're not going to use it right away, I think. Getting early picks onto Oxybleach. So Pharmacy is down, and now Sasuke is alone as Soldier, running away as fast as his old man legs can take him. Kind of trying to see if he can get that high ground, as he did right there. Getting that high ground, then he has a little bit more control of how he can do the damage. But evidently, I mean, Nameless is playing, or sorry, Fruitcake is playing very intelligently here. They're not going to play into Sasuke. They're like, all right, you want to go over there? We're just going to go onto the point. You can't hit us there. So now Sasuke is forced off the high ground and forced to put himself in a more aggressive and dangerous position. Sasuke's going to have to pull off some crazy moves here if he wants to win. Hopefully, maybe if he can build up his ult, that ult is pretty powerful, and he actually might be able to do this. So if he can build up ult here, he's got to play just aggressively enough to get damage, but just defensively enough to survive long enough. So, he's got to touch the point though. It doesn't seem like he will. Oh, he is. So we're seeing the ult there from Sasuke, but unfortunately he did not touch the point. That could have been huge, but it was extremely an extremely difficult and borderline impossible play. But we saw Sasuke trying to build up his ult while also trying not to die. If they could have just touched the point there, that would have been almost huge, but also it's extremely difficult. Like, you're still 1v3ing. It's not like that ult is the best ult, and it's not also gonna kill everybody super quickly. But Sasuke did his best there, I've got to say. Really didn't give up and tried to win it. We're now seeing Nameless running Fruitcake's favorite comp. They just pulled a 180 on them. They were like, hey, well, we're gonna run your favorite comp now. So Cupcake Ninja on that Mercy, Oxybleach on Echo, and Sasuke on Aura. So we're gonna see if Nameless is gonna be able to run this Fruitcake's comp to the same ability as Fruitcake's. And Fruitcake's is not running oh no. Fruitcake's is, I would use a bad word here, but I'm not going to, is they're basically in a really bad situation. They have no ability to hit any of the heroes that Nameless is running right now. So this is a very comp-specific situation. It has not much to do here with mechanical to linear strategy. There's just, they actually just can't really, okay, or I mean, they can, but it's very difficult to. The only ability that they have that can really hit the enemy team is Sigma's Rock, which we just saw, but it's extremely difficult to land. So I've got to say, Nameless was intelligent there. They haven't run something like Pharmacy Echo before, and so Fruitcakes wasn't really expecting it. So Nameless was kind of like, let's run something that they need hit scan against, and that they might not run hit scan because we haven't really run anything that they need to run hit scan against. So Nameless kind of pulled out a sneaky move there, and I think Fruitcakes kind of knew right out the gate, like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We have nothing that can hit them. So that was really a comp game, where the comps were super important in who won there. All right, so we've got Fruitcakes back on their favorite comp here again. And Sasuke did win on McCree, so Sasuke doesn't have the ability to play McCree, but he is, and we do have Oxyleaf on Soldier, who is a hit scan. But I've got to say Sasuke on McCree is probably the best way to deal with what Fruitcakes is throwing at them, so they're probably going to have a bit more difficulty dealing with this this kind of Fruitcakes. Oh, all right, Oxyleaf getting a pick out the Pocket League right away. The Ferrets is probably going to be able to res that. I wouldn't see why not. Oh, Sasuke is doing a good job of pressuring Ferrets so that Ferrets can't get that res off. The fantastic coordination there from Nameless. They're understanding the way Fruitcakes runs their comp here, and they're picking out what they need to do. So they found the problem, they found the solution, and they're taking out everybody they need to do. Now, Lena, I don't know how clutch Lena could be, but we've seen Lena pull some pretty crazy plays, but not enough to stop there. So I've got to give it to Nameless there. They really took the time to figure out the problem and find the solution, which I think I said pretty early on, I think almost in the first 1 or 2 games, that was one of the most important parts of 3v3s, finding the problem, finding a solution. And Nameless did a fantastic job at doing so. Sasuke on this hit scan, I mean, look at him hitting all of those shots, and then the little cocky hello wave. Hitting those shots beautifully and then jumping off the edge with style for University. They definitely put him on that hit scan role because he's fantastic at it. But huge shout out to Nameless just as a whole team for really figuring out what Fruitcakes was best at and finding ways to mitigate it. But huge again shout outs to Fruitcakes and especially my still MVP of the entire tournament, Lana Del Rey. Fantastic job on all counts. I think this is the most evenly matched I've ever seen a 3v3. So, well, GG's to all teams.
Yeah, that was really well done. Fruitcake, they ran really well. It just came down to that final last game. They couldn't quite do it. So I think that means Nameless is our winners, right?
Yeah, congratulations to Nameless. As I said earlier, Nameless really figured out what Fruitcakes was best at, and while Fruitcakes was still great at that thing they were doing, Nameless found ways to deal with it. So it's just like countering a good DPS. You've just got to figure out what the problem is and find a solution. So great job to Nameless. They definitely a deserved win, but shout out to Fruitcakes because they really put up quite a fight.
Oh, hang on 1 second. Before we roll our final our final congratulations, I think we lost Marcy. I want to see if I can get her back here. No, it looks like
I'm here.
She's here, but we lost the screen for her. I'm so sorry, Marcy. All right,
it's okay.
We can pull you in. We don't have our fourth for the day, but we can at least get you on the screen. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
Before we roll our thank yous for the winning team, Nameless, who did awesome, I do want to say a couple of thank yous, just because we had so much help this time around. First and foremost, Zivathediva, thank you so much for coming out and for being willing to cast and for going over. I think I told you 2 hours and we're at 3.5. Thanks for sticking with us.
It's 12:30, girl.
We'll tell him thank you too. Of course, thank you to Marcy, who's with me week after week, helping me run these things. Squimples is our newest chat moderator on Twitch, and he's keeping things clean and tidy. You were giving out MVPs, Ziva. Squimples is my MVP for today.
Beautiful.
for modding chat and for keeping things on the up and up. That's so awesome. Our work study, Tony Garcia Jr. has been doing a great job keeping our bracket up to date. And then our producer today is the Vision X, Joseph Madding, who I don't know what I'd do without him. Keeping things moving is so fantastic. But now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our winning team. It looks like it hasn't picked up their name yet. I need that. I need that to happen. Okay, let me see if I can manually overdo it. I mean, we all know it's nameless, but before I roll that animation, I need to see that happen.
Yeah. Gotta see, they've earned it.
They have earned it. Okay, so I'm just going to override it manually. And here we go. Our winning team for Overwatch 3v3's Lockout Deathmatch.
Beautiful.
Can't see it. Wait, okay. Wow. Fantastic.
Fighting with the producer here for control now. Sorry. Awesome. So thank you. Congratulations to Nameless. Thank you so much. Good job. Well played. Well done, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. I had a really great time. Thanks for sticking with us. Next week, we have Quiplash.
Yes.
Marcy, that's going to be amazing. I don't think K-Boom is playing, so it could be anybody.
I have a chance.
You do. You have a chance.
Flash is a great game. I might have to
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah. Oh, you are totally invited. Please,
Yes,
please
play
come
with
play
us.
Quiplash with us.
Oh, I'd love to, definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight here at Thursday Night Gaming. Thanks again, everybody who came out. If you haven't yet, swing by ghc.edu/esports. Give us a like, give us a follow. If you're on Twitch, give us a subscribe. We'd love that. Thanks for all the help. And if you want, just get involved. We can always use the help. Moderators, graphics designers, video editors. It takes everybody to run this thing. So thanks again, everybody. Have an excellent weekend. And that does it for us here at Thursday Night Gaming. Have a good night.